O Show. This is the Big 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 O Show.
When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Welcome aboard. It's a beautiful Monday. Hope you all are doing well out there. Hope you're feeling good. Welcome aboard to the show. Hope you had a good weekend. I know I had a good weekend, although it was a mission last night, man. I got to say, that's, I know I'm getting old when I was kind of just uncomfortable about being uncomfortable for a long time yesterday while I was at the concert. And listen, for a guy that's been to over 1,000 concerts in my lifetime, I had fun last night, I got to admit, in Green Day, but man, it was hot, dude. Holy crap, it was hot. Whew. Had a great time watching the Interrupters. Loved Green Day. For me, it wasn't so much about Weezer and Fall Out Boy. They were kind of a throw-in. I've seen those bands open up in other concerts over the years. I actually enjoyed Weezer a little bit more than Fall Out Boy, but it was kind of, I was just fast forwarding and waiting to get to the main event, which is Green Day. Because for me, it was all about the Interrupters and Green Day. So it's like, if I got to say, if the Interrupters weren't at the concert, I'm not crapping you, I would have shown up at 9:10 or 9:20 or whatever, right before Green Day went on, and I would have skipped those two bands, and I would have just been happy just watching Green Day, and I would have sweated less. And it really, I love how Mother Nature waits towards the end of the show to start raining. It just like that. That's just fantastic. That was awesome. But anyway, so hope you all had a good weekend. I will say this, man. I was double masked and everything, but wow, it was hot. Anybody that went to last night's concert, it was hot, and the air wasn't really, it doesn't really rotate well inside the stadium. Actually, the way they've done a nice job of sealing it up in a way where the sound stays inside, but they've also done the way they designed it that the air doesn't really flow through that stadium at all on hot nights. And not that there was a steady wind, you know what I mean? But that was part of my weekend, of course. There was other things. Yankees swept the Marlins. Inter Miami got a win over the weekend. We've got Heat news to talk about. I was at Dolphins camp on Saturday, hanging out with the folks. And I met some of you out there. I don't know if any of you that were out there. Unfortunately, if I couldn't meet you, it sucks. I wish you would have swung by the media area to say hi. Definitely would have loved to meet some of you out there. But anyway, it was fun at camp. I had a good time at camp. So we'll get into a lot of stuff with camp. Omar Kelly is at camp. Coach is talking at 9:45, so he should be already finished up now. We'll talk to Omar at 10:30. We're not going to do video today with Omar. Today it'll be all audio with Omar. So we'll have him on, and we'll have our conversation with Omar, and we'll get into a little Dolphins talk too with him. with our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report. And already got an active chat board already. Steve Chapman checking in early in the morning. Says, I hear how good Albert Wilson looked in camp. The more I'm convinced he's making the team. Now, let's talk a little bit about camp, and let's go with the reality of camp, okay? First of all, folks, you know me, man. I'm not here to blow smoke up your ass. If I believe in something, I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to try to create some kind of fluff when there isn't really substance there. And right now in camp, there's zero substance going on. Zero. Okay? Zero. Tua threw a couple of nice passes. Yeah, Albert Wilson looks good, but they're not hitting yet. There were several passes that Tua got off that would have been sacks. But again, I can't measure the line because they're really not blocking. I can't measure the defensive linemen because they're really not blocking. So it's just not there yet. You know, I was there on Saturday. There were no pads. Pads go on tomorrow. That's when you can start to actually measure some football. And by the way, Kyle Krabs will be in town, and he'll be catching practice on Tuesday and Wednesday. So we'll have Kyle Krabs on, and we'll get his thoughts right away from watching practice and watching them actually make some contact and play with pads. They're not with pads right now. So really, it's really impossible to measure anything. Yes, Waddle looks fast. Yeah, Albert Wilson caught a couple of passes. Yeah, I got you. The Foster kid made a nice catch in practice, but there's no hitting going on. So for me, when I'm sitting there watching practice, and as a guy I've been a beat reporter for many years, and I know what real practice looks like. And what I saw on Saturday was touch football. It meant zero in preparation for the season. The only thing that the practices up until today are worth anything, it's all about the mental reps and conditioning. That's it. They were out there for a good 2 hours in the heat, sweating up, running around. So it's good for conditioning purposes. It's good for mental reps, so you can keep running the same plays and you can get, acclimated to everything that you have to do in the playbook. So when you do put on the pads and you actually are playing football, then we can actually measure and see what's going on. But really, tomorrow is when it actually starts. The following week, when they start to take on other teams, in practices and then preseason games, these are the things that we're going to be able to measure, because I'm sitting there and I got to be honest, man. I mean, if you were practice, if you're reading into anything on Saturday, then I'm sorry, you're reading too much into it. Like Steve says, I'm convinced that, Albert's making camp. I'm not yet. He looks terrific. He's running around, but they're in shorts, man. There's no pads going on. There's no hitting going on. And Albert also has to prove durability too. And so we'll have to see as training camp goes on, as the preseason goes on. I would love to sit here and tell you, oh my God, this looked great and that looked great and this was that, but there's no hitting going on. So I can't measure linemen, I can't measure D linemen, I can't measure linebackers, the quarterbacks. I can't really measure because I can measure that Tua looks good physically. He's running around, everything looks good, the arm looks good, accuracy, all of that, but I need to see him under real pressure. Not that I don't think he can perform. I'm convinced Tua will be a good quarterback. It's not what I'm worried about. But if anybody's reading into what they've been watching the last week, I'm sorry. There's nothing to read right now into the Dolphins. I got to wait till I actually see some tackling. I have to see some real hitting. You know what I mean? That's why, I was telling Omar on Saturday that I miss that, camp started off with Jimmy Johnson, started off with the inside drill. Full pads. First thing you did in the morning was inside drill. And so you could start measuring already right from the get-go who came ready to, to play and practice and all that kind of stuff. It got the practice going on an edge right from the get-go, you know what I mean? But it's a different world now. They have less contact in practice. I listen, I don't go to camp that much anymore. Okay. And to be honest with you, this is the reason why I don't go much to camp anymore, because it's a waste of time. It was actually the best part about going to camp on Saturday, got to be brutally honest, was meeting some of you out there and talking to, Omar and Dave Hyde and Joe Rose and Steve Goldstein and who else? Barry and David Wilson and Hal Habit, and that's what it was about for me, was actually just connecting with David Silver and Pete from Channel 7 and just a whole bunch of people that I hadn't seen in a while. That to me was the best part, connecting with Jason Jenkins from the Dolphins, and that's actually, to me, was the best part. Had a good conversation with Joe Rose too, as I'm sure he deals with the clown show that is Odyssey. He doesn't have much left to deal with it anyways, right? In about another 5 months, and then he'll be checking out. But good for him, at least he finally will get away from that clown show. But what's it called? No, that to me was the best part, was actually connecting with old friends and hanging out with them and BSing a little bit and meeting some of you out there. I took a couple pictures also with some of you out there. So that was really cool. That was really cool. That to me was the best part, and I wish I could have actually met more of you out there at camp on Saturday, because we had been talking a lot about it. So I was hoping to see some of you out there. So that really was the best part about connecting. GP Trap is in, and of course reminds everybody to smash the hell out of that like button. Please smash the like button. We definitely need that in a big time way. Let's see what else. Ray is in. Ray grew young. Howdy, saw your pics from last night's concert. It's about time, huh? Yeah, it was good to get a concert in. It was good. Although I didn't really, to be honest with you, I having the masks on, and I was double masked, by the way, okay? But having the masks on, I also found myself, and I was in the pit. So I did not, for the interrupters, it wasn't that full. So I was able to stand maybe, 10 feet away from the stage. But then as the bands, mounted, I backed up. And I found myself on the back wall of the fence of the pit, because I didn't want to be in the mobs. And then they started, doing the what's that called when they're running into each other or moshing. So I moved to the left of the stage, and it was nice and wide open there. So I kept trying to find a spot and distance myself from people, because this stupid, Delta variant is spreading like crazy. And while the good thing for us vaccinated people, 98% chance you're not going to end up in a hospital or dead or anything like that. It's the unvaccinated that they are the ones that are risking death and hospitals and things like that, like at a 98% clip. They're risking it a lot more than we are, but I still don't want to catch it. I still don't want to I still don't want to spread it without knowing, you know what I mean? And I don't even know, it might make me sick enough where I have to miss work. So I was actually a little nervous that I was going to even get a cold, because, I was drenched, dude, by the time I got to the car. It sucks, man. You're reaching for towels and you're drying yourself up, and it's just crazy stuff. But I had a good time. I had a good time with the bands. Just did not enjoy the heat, man. It was just absolute. It made it uncomfortable, that part, and I was kind of uncomfortable about being uncomfortable. NorCal is in. Javier Gonzalez says, best show in the morning. Big O Show. Thank you, Javier. Appreciate you. John Santos says, good morning, Big O. Congrats to the United States men's soccer team. I still say they will never win a World Cup. Well, I mean, you could say that, but I think if our best talent gets to the point, they're not winning a World Cup right now, but maybe in the next 20, 30 years, I think they can get to that point. Again, it all depends on how far we go with soccer. And you think about where we were 20, 25, 30 years ago, 40 years ago to where we are now, it's leaps and bounds. Once you start seeing us do what we're supposed to do, is kick Mexico's ass on a consistent basis, because Mexico should not be hanging with us in practically any sport ever existed. Okay? Nothing against Mexicans, nothing against anybody in Central America, nothing against anybody in the Caribbean, but they should not be hanging with us in sports. Should not. That's all. We got a much bigger country, got a much bigger pool of talent. We got better resources. We got better athletes. We should be better, period. Not even close. Okay? So when they beat Mexico, I was happy that they beat Mexico, but I'm also saying it's about damn time. Now start kicking their ass on a consistent basis. Okay? They should not be hanging with you. You know, in boxing, yes, right? Track and field, you know, some of the Caribbean countries can hang with the U.S., like Jamaica. But, you know, regular sports, soccer, football, basketball, baseball, that kind of stuff, hockey, we should be the best of the best. You know what I mean? That's just the way it's the way I strongly feel about this. And now that our athletes are getting better, that are playing soccer, I think we've got a chance to move up to that point where we can compete with Argentina and England and Germany and Brazil. You know what I mean? At this point for a World Cup, no. But I think in 20 to 30 years, if we continue on this trajectory, yeah, I disagree with you, John. I think we should. We have all the resources, man. We have all the athletes. There's no reason for us not to do it. None whatsoever. So I disagree with you on that one. I think we definitely should be in the mix. Omar Lopez, Joe Romano is in. Good morning, Big O. I went to Bucks camp yesterday, and no 44-year-old should have an arm like that. LOL. Well, hey, man, it's all about the avocado ice cream. The Samoan sniper is catching bodies, 0 dark 30 mode. I don't know what that means, Drew Boo. I have no idea what the Samoan sniper. Oh, you mean are you calling Tua the Samoan sniper? Is that what you're calling him? I don't know. I guess that's what I'm trying to pick up on. Antonio Gutierrez says, I was there. Where at camp or at the concert? Which one was it? Camp, concert. You're going to confuse me. You know what I mean? Because I've been talking about two different things, Antonio. So I don't know. You could have been jamming with me last night, or you could have been on Saturday over there. Eddie Lepp in. Daniel Marquez. Mickey is in. Thank you, Mickey. Super V. So will Kyle Krabs be on your show on Wednesday? Yes, Wednesdays, 11:30. Kyle Krabs. Every Wednesday, locked in. Thomas Flores, what's up, Big O? I'm on vacation in Vegas, but I'm still listening to your show. Thank you, Thomas. Appreciate you, man. That's very nice. Damn, it's early, too. It's 7:15, bro. Did you just get in? Right? I mean, you're in Vegas, right? Vegas, baby. Super V in. Jakeem caught a couple passes. NorCal is in, but again, there's no pads going on. You know, I need pads. I need some hitting. Gus 1388. Kenshawn Holistic Health Coach says, good morning, Big O. Hope the family is well. Thank you, sir. Greg Wood says, Big O, not trying to get my hopes up, but I can't remember even being this excited for Dolphin season. Just keep building, baby. I'm with you, man. I'm super excited about Dolphin season. Troy Ortiz, Michael Toff says, looking forward to the Black Crows in September. I will be there, my friend. I'm looking forward to the Black Crows also. NorCal says, I told you there's always a mosh pit. Yeah, they did it for Green Day. They started moshing. But I can, Green Day has a little punk in them, obviously, their music. So I can see with Green Day a little bit of that. GP Trap says, Gesicki, Shaheen, Carter, placed on COVID reserve. Coach Godsey tested positive. Sent an article to your Twitter. Yeah, I saw it. GP Trap, you should go to Adam Shaheen's Twitter handle. It says, I will not comply. So Adam Shaheen is an anti-COVID guy. So you know that the Dolphins aren't ever going to get to 100% with Shaheen on there. So Shaheen will be one of the guys putting his team at risk. And by the way, by him saying I will not comply, I don't know, was it him that brought the COVID on to the tight ends room and the coach? I'm just saying, you're not going to comply, right? You know, just people believe the FUD, man, and they get suckered into believing stuff that is just absolutely ridiculous. Anybody that can argue that the vaccine gives you the best chance to survive the damn virus. You know, the problem is you have too many idiots that think that the vaccine's supposed to be perfect or something like that, which there's no such thing. It took decades to get rid of polio with a vaccine. If you don't have a vaccine, you will wipe out entire populations. And you'll do the same thing here. If we don't have the vaccine, you're going to wipe out entire populations. Is it perfect? Nothing's ever perfect. Just because you get the flu shot doesn't mean you can't get the flu. It happens. Okay? Just because you get it doesn't mean, I can do whatever I want. I'll never get the cold. You will. You can. So we'll see how Shaheen handles all of this, but it is what it is. He's quoting Beasley and Cole Beasley and everything. That already tells me you aren't very smart if you're quoting Cole Beasley. King Short is in. Brooklyn Rob is in. Dola is in. Oh, pads on tomorrow. You going? No, I'll be here with you. I can't. That's my problem. Practice goes on in the middle of my show. You know what I mean? So, and then I got post show after. So I can't, unfortunately. I'll see them. I'm not worried, man. I'll see them in preseason, and I'll get everything. I'll figure everything out as the preseason goes on and get a feel for the team. Look, in the end, I know one thing about Flo that I've already seen for 2 straight years. However the team starts is not how they finish. Okay? However they start, they will be better by the end of the year. And that's what I've seen from Coach Flo so far in 2 straight years, that his teams improve on a daily and on a weekly basis. So that part, it's almost like I'm expecting it to happen with Coach Flo, because that's been kind of the MO for the man, is that everything improves under him. Players improve, the team improves. And so I know that whatever is happening now is not what's going to be happening in October. And what's happening in October, they'll be much better in November and December. And that's the beauty of watching this coach do his thing, that he's the guy that really can coach up a team and help them improve. Michael Toff says, cold beer, lawn chair, and the Crows. Great night. There you go. There you go. Antonio says, I was both at camp and the show last night. Nice job by you, Antonio. Way to go. Guillermo is in. Rosendo in. Uber Bean says, Tua is the Samoan sniper. Okay, I got you now. That's what I figured. Joe G, 2 weeks to the preseason. Can't wait, Big O. I'm with you, man. King Short says, Shaheen pulling no, not an A Beasley. We're going to blame Adam Beasley? No, it's Cole Beasley. Let's not. Adam's a good dude. I think he might be logical with the vaccine stuff. Big O, look forward to Rockville and Daytona in October and planning to go up there. Nice job by you, sir. Vaccinated survival rate 99.999%. Enough said. I know. I mean, that's the idea. You get the vaccine, you'll survive. You don't have the vaccine, you got a chance to end up in a hospital and on a ventilator or die. And those options are not options that you need. That's all you need to know. If anybody argues with those 2 options, either you will survive and you will not go to the hospital and not be vaccinated or not be on a ventilator, or if you don't take the vaccine, you will risk hospitalization, a ventilator, and death. Common sense tells you what you need to do. It's what the world should do to take care of everybody else. Doesn't this open up Shaheen to get cut? We have enough tight ends. Manuel, you know what? If it's close enough, yes. Yes. Yeah. If he's competing with another guy and they're similar and there isn't much of a difference, one's vaccinated and one's not vaccinated, yeah, you bet your ass you're cutting the non-vaccinated guy because he could cost you a game. Because see, he just got the. What if we were in week 5 and the entire tight ends room is now taken out because Adam Shaheen did it? Then what? Right? So all of a sudden you go into a game that week with nobody at that position. And what do you got to do? Sign a guy on a 10-day contract or whatever the hell they do nowadays? Is that what you got to do? So yeah, if unless the player is clearly better than everybody else, like a really good player that you can't be without, Adam Shaheen has opened himself up to get cut. There's no doubt in my mind about that. Now, he's played pretty good, so, maybe he survives, but he definitely has put himself there at that position. Devin Jordan says he needs to go. NorCal, one of my customers dropped off his car last Monday. He called me Wednesday saying he tested positive for COVID. A week later, I still feel fine. I wonder if I steered clear or if my vaccine worked. Well, there's always a good chance the vaccine works. You know what I mean? There's a good chance. There's a slight chance that it doesn't work. That's just the way every vaccine works. That's just how it is. Polio, I don't know if you guys know this, but the polio vaccine was at 90%. Okay. This is like 95. Polio was even lower. It was 90%, but still 90% is better than not having the vaccine. What are you going to do? Risk polio? No, you don't risk COVID either. You don't risk the measles. You take the damn vaccine. We've been doing this for over 100 years in this world. It's no difference, man. Ragin says Shaheen may have booked his plane out of town with that tweet. No, it's not even the tweet, dude. Okay? It's not even a tweet. It's the headline of his Twitter. Okay? The headline of his Twitter. Damn it. Here we go. Check it out right under where it says Adam Shaheen. I will not comply. Right there. Oh, right here. I will not comply. It says on his, it's not even a tweet. It's the headline of his Twitter page. I will not comply. Okay? The headline. Not even a tweet. He wants you to know where he stands. I will not comply. Jay says, good morning, Orlando. 75 people in the chat, less than half. Hit the like button. Come on, people. That's right. That's right. Hit that like button. Please, please, please. That's one of the biggest things you'll do for this show. Support our sponsors. Hit the like button. Subscribe. Share the link. All of those kind of things. And remember, you can also support us through Cash App and Venmo. And it's Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. David says Shaheen is officially a meathead. There's a 95% chance he bought the virus to the tight end pool. He ain't that good. If he brings the virus in October and a bunch of players test positive, Miami could forfeit. I know. Rich V is in. Let's see. Eddie Lepp is in. Give Shaheen to the Bills for free. No, man, I don't want to infect anybody with that thing, dude. I'm vaccinated. And I would hate to catch it and then know that I gave it to somebody that was even though I implore all of you that are unvaccinated, please get vaccinated because I want you to live, I want you to survive, and I want us to all move forward. But I don't wish anything bad on people that are unvaccinated. I'll tell you, hey, I think you're risking yourself, but just the way I look at it, man, I just wish we would all do this so we can all get to another point in life. You know what I'm saying? It would be nice. Let's see. Eugene Branch, not vaccinated, just got over COVID. Stop crying. It's our choice. Getting the vaccine changes nothing. You can still catch it and spread it. Yes, but you can't die, Eugene. You can't die and you don't end up in the hospital. If you're unvaccinated, you risk dying. You risk being in a hospital. Just because you recovered doesn't mean 6 million other people didn't around the world. Bro, how can you think, Eugene? Seriously, bro. I know you're on here a lot and I appreciate your support, but bro, you're just exposing yourself right there. No joda, bro. Shit, man. For Christ's sake, bro. Logic tells you. You're unvaccinated, you're at a much higher risk of dying. No joda. Damn, dude. Stop crying. There's 6 million people dead, dude. What do you mean crying? It's a fact. People are dying. You know, the ignorance in this world is freaking amazing, bro. It's not a choice. It's stupidity. You got me, Eugene? It's stupidity. It's not a choice. It's stupidity. I don't give a shit if some of you are insulted by it. I don't care. No. Compadre. Damn, dude. This is really freaking amazing that you still think like that. No, it's a cold, Eugene. That's all. COVID is just a cold, bro. That's all. It's the sniffles. That's all. 6 million people are dead. No, of course. Wow. You know, I got both my shots a while ago. I wonder how long our shots will last. Well, you may need a booster down the line. Depends if this thing keeps, turning and changing into other variants, and this variant's worse than the next one. So we just never. Science evolves. Medicine evolves. Everybody thinks that these doctors have the 100% answer, and they don't have the 100% answer. Because it evolves. They learn. We want to hold these people to a standard like we think that they got to be perfect and that everything that they do, that they're going to make the right call every single time. And that's just not the case, man. That's just not the case. That's not the way it goes. Seriously, bro. You did a nice number on me right there, bro. Seriously. My 34-year-old cousin with a wife and 3 kids died of COVID a month ago. Our family's devastated. Please take this seriously. Of course. Of course you got to take it seriously. It's what this guy just said now, Tank McBride. I would rather take a chance on a vax than the virus. Exactly. I don't want to mess with that stupid virus. Nothing is perfect, ladies and gentlemen, in this world. Nothing. You guys got to understand that. This is our best chance at actually surviving. We are awaiting, by the way, the call by Omar Kelly here. Let's do this. Give me a couple of seconds here, and we'll get Omar Kelly on, and we'll talk, and we'll get our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report.
The Big O Radio Show is home for the hardcore Dolphins fan. That's why we give you Omar Kelly twice a week. Buckle up. It's time for the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CFs, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
This is the Big O Show.
There's many ways to support our program, from subscribing and liking the show to visiting our terrific sponsors. Another way is using Cash App. If you would like to donate to the show and help us grow, download Cash App and search Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. We appreciate your support as we continue to build the best sports show on the planet for South Florida sports fans. Support the Big O Show by using Cash App and donate to Cash Big O Show. Thank you for your incredibly loyal support.
This is the Big O Show.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchased with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
All righty, we are back. We are still waiting. Omar Kelly. Hopefully he will join us. He might be tied up with something at camp, and then I'm just looking to see if I see the call coming in so we can actually take it. Thomas Flores says, I don't get it, Big O. Why are you vaccination? First of all, Flores, it's why are you vaccinated? Why do you think I'm vaccinated, Thomas? Do I have to really explain that? Because I don't want to catch COVID and die. Now I can catch it and not die. I have 5 stents in my heart, which puts me even more at risk than some other people. I don't know. What else do you want me to tell you? That I'm being a good American? No, I'm sorry. I'm being a good citizen of the world and getting a vaccine so we can try to stop something called a pandemic. I don't know. Do I see? The problem is, what's disturbing for me is that I actually have to explain this. That's the part I find disturbing, like by thousands of percents. Like, that's disturbing that I have to explain that. Okay. When did a radio guy become a virologist expert? People talk to your doctors, nobody else. Exactly. We'll talk to your doctor. He'll tell you, get the vaccine, save your life. David goes, yes, 0.001% of the fully vaccinated have died. 0.03 of the non-vaccinated will die. The difference is massive when extrapolated over the whole population of 340 million. Your chances are incredibly larger if you're not vaccinated. It's just pretty simple. All right. I don't want to talk about vaccines already. I'm tired of talking about vaccines. The people that are believing the bullshit will then believe the bullshit like they have with the whatever, By the way, it's August. Isn't somebody supposed to be reinstated? You know what I'm talking about? You see what I'm saying? And you got stupid ass people who are, oh yeah, he's going to get reinstated in August. Yeah. He makes up his own rules. Yeah. So there you go. Please talk about Lowry going to the Heat. Is this happening? I got to tell you something. I'll tell you a little bit about this Lowry situation. It does nothing for me. It does nothing for me. To me, what the Heat are stepping in, and I talked about this a little while back, it's all desperation. It's all desperation. They can't play with the big boys right now. They can't get the big names. They made their trip to the big names, and that's it. And now they're going with secondary. And whether it's Jimmy Butler or now it's this with Kyle Lowry, what, a 35-year-old guy? Seriously, we're going to keep adding a whole bunch of old guys? That to me does nothing. Will they be a playoff team next year? Yeah, they'll be a playoff team next year. That's it. But there's no aspirations of a deep run, an impactful team, and all that kind of stuff. If you're going to believe in the crap that happened 2 years ago, that the world fell in line for them. The only thing they needed was to stay healthy at the end in the finals, and they actually would have had a shot. But that was no sign of that's who that team was. That was just a flukish run that everything went their way. They excelled in a situation that maybe others could not excel in. I don't know, but it all fell into place. It's not because they were that good or anything like that. At that moment, they were that good. But that's it. Once you took them out of that moment, they were never going to capture that magic again. They were never going to do it. There's no difference between them and 31-10. And what I mean by that is not the talent. What I mean by that was we all kept waiting. Yours truly too. I bought into the FUD at that time. And yeah, no, bring them all back. What the hell? Maybe they can make a 50 win season out of it if they can play to 30 in a half a season. And we were all full of crap if any of us thought that. And it's the same thing here. If you thought that this team was going to get to the NBA Finals, and I get it, the Heat zombies, they want to convince themselves of anything and everything, like they're going to get all the biggest names every offseason, which they really don't anymore. They don't. They might get a couple meetings, but they don't get the commit from the Durants of the world anymore. They're not getting the Kawhi Leonards of the world anymore. I don't even know if I want Kawhi Leonard because he's always injured now. But my point is, they don't get those kind of players anymore. They're not getting the upper echelon anymore. They're getting the secondary guys. And that's what they've ended up with with Jimmy. And now that's another guy in Lowry. It does nothing for me whatsoever. It'll be a nice team. It'll be somewhat entertaining. There'll be a gritty blue-collar team. But if you got a bunch of guys that can't shoot threes in this league, I don't find that to be a positive, to be honest with you. They better keep dunking because, you can't count on Jimmy. Lowry isn't a great three-point shooter. Bam isn't a great three-point shooter. Is Tyler Hero going to wake up? Is he going to finally, start playing to his potential? Or is he going to get caught up again with his IG model and all the crap that went on? Hopefully he learned his lesson this year and he got his fat head, and unfortunately, it didn't work out. But I got to tell you, the Lowry thing does zero for me. Zero. It just does not get me going at all. It doesn't pump me up for the season. You're getting a 35-year-old guy, dude. And not even a great three-point shooter. I get it. You need a ball handler and all that stuff. You can't put so much pressure on everybody else. And plus, if you're getting rid of Goran, which I know they picked up the option in order to trade him, which I'm wondering if you do a sign and trade with Toronto, they want Goran Dragic. And again, they're as good as Toronto is, they're not the place that free agents want to go to. You have to either get traded there or get drafted there. And they've done a great job of drafting, but they can't find free agents to go there if their lives depended on it. So is that what they're doing? They're settling for Goran Dragic? And they're going to pay him that much? Because Miami picked up the option in order to trade it. But, wow, seriously? That's crazy, man. I got to tell you. That is crazy. All right, if you want to get in, chime in on the YouTube chat board. You can send in your questions and your comments. You can also reach out to us on email, bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. Twitter, Big O Show is another way to reach out to us. And, of course, you can support us through Cash App and Venmo. That's Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. So, George doesn't do anything for me, man. I got to tell you something. Andres Negron says true raging. Okay, I guess he's agreeing with raging on something. Let's see, what else do we have? Ryan, Big O doesn't like facts. What are the facts? That you can live, you have a much better chance of living with the vaccine than without it? Those are the facts. What other facts do you need? Well, what other facts do you need, Ryan Shaheen? Let's see. I got my vaccine. My mother, my brother, my sister all got it, and none of us got sick. I mean, you could be, but even if you get sick, the good thing is you're not going to die. That's the good thing. That's the best part about it. Let's see. Alan C. reinstated. Laughing my ass off. Martin Leiden says, just get vaccinated so the borders are open so I can come watch the Dolphins in October. Time to party. Amen, Martin. But we got too many people fighting it, bro. We got too many people fighting it. Let's see. Andy Rio says, Lowry is a bad decision as he's old. Stay the course with young players. Maybe trade Jimmy. No, dude, that's my problem with the Heat. They have gone the other way. They may extend Jimmy. Can you imagine if they extend Jimmy and trade for Kyle Lowry? My God. Ugh. Let's see. What else do we have here? Devin says, Big O, isn't Kyle Lowry older than Goran Dragic? What is Goran? I know Lowry's 35. What is Goran? I'm not even sure now what Goran is. But they're both old. They both have mileage on them like crazy. Yeah, you know. Tremolio goes, don't forget, when you get vaxxed, they also want you to wear a couple of masks indoor. LOL. Yeah, Tremolio, they don't want you can also be a spreader. Just because you're not going to die and end up on a ventilator, you still could catch it and spread it. Do you understand that? Because we have so many people unvaccinated, the people that are vaccinated still have a chance at killing the people that are unvaccinated. I'm not sure if you understand that, bro, but that's the logic. If you can't understand the logic that you could still be a carrier just because you're vaccinated, that's pretty bad. So until we get everybody vaccinated, then we have a better chance of actually not keeping it around. But as long as you have people that are unvaccinated, you're going to keep it around, you're going to spread it, and even the unvaxxed people can catch it and spread it. I'm not sure if you understand that, but that's why I wore a mask. I wore a mask to protect those that don't want to vaccinate. How about that? We are the most selfless people on the planet. We vaccinate, we put on our masks in public, so we actually follow protocol and help out humanity. Now, if you don't want to help out humanity by not vaccinating, by not masking, by not washing your hands, by not maintaining social distance, well, Tremolio, I can't help you, my brother. You know, if you just want to fight it and create whatever, ideas you want in your head, go ahead, my brother. But if you don't understand common sense, we can still spread it. Okay? Again, I will repeat, with a vaccine, it took decades to get rid of polio. Again, with the vaccine, it took decades to get rid of polio. Tremolio. So without a vaccine, guess what happens? Do the math. How many more die? Some of you aren't really good at simple math. George says, Big O, when does NCAA football rankings come out? I got to know why. Why do you want to know this? Why do you want to know this? I'm wondering because the real rankings don't come out to like midway through the season, sometime in October or something like that, because that's when the BCS rankings start coming out, or whatever the hell they're called nowadays. Is it BCS still? Whatever it's called. Okay, that's when they come out at that point. So who cares about any ranking right now? You know what I mean? So I don't know, bro. I'm not exactly sure. Big O, order some Moringa tea from Amazon to help your kidneys a bit. You got a little red under the eyes for all these non-vaccinators. You can fix stupid. You can't fix stupid. Not even God likes stupid people. I mean, that's a little cruel. But I mean, common sense is, it's right there for you. It's staring you in the face. Let's see. What happens if too many people are vaccinated or tested? Well, listen, if they're vaccinated people testing positive, it's because you got unvaccinated people keeping it alive. But the more people you get vaccinated, the more you'll kill the virus. That's kind of what it is. But if people want to be unvaccinated and then hang out together, you know what I mean? Then they're going to keep spreading it and they're going to keep killing each other. Let's see. Big O, little by little, they will be gone by their own doing. Well, yeah, but I don't want that. I don't want people dying, bro. You know, we're killing families, man. No, I don't want to see that. I get it. I disagree completely with not vaccinating, but give me a break, dude. I mean, come on. You know, and if some of you think that I'm going to just stand here and play the PC role and kiss your ass and all that crap, I'm not doing that, bro. That's never been me. I'll tell you what I feel, and I don't care if it hurts your feelings too damn bad, you know, but this situation, it's pretty, there's no gray area here. It's black and white. It's either or. That's it. There's nothing else. We've done this before with other things. This is nothing new. Anyway, all right, let me get to some other stuff. I don't know what the hell's going on with Omar. I'll see if we can get in contact with him down the line. I'm texting him and everything. I'm trying to do multiple things at the same time. You know, so I don't know what we're gonna do here with Omar, but we will get him eventually. And I will continue with the show, and we'll just continue talking here and getting everything posted. All right, let's one of the things that I wanted to talk about with the Dolphins, and it's kind of like a running it's kind of like a running statement that one person hears and then another person repeats and another person repeats, and there's no substance to it, but they'll keep repeating it because they're lazy and they don't think about it. I think Omar's going to call in now, he says. Here we go. There we go. You there?
I'm here, baby. I'm here.
All right.
We just started practice. We just started practices. Tua's throwing a couple of red zone TDs. I think today is a red zone day. Every time Tua does anything good, if he takes a fart good, the crowd cheers.
All right. Well, that's good. Well, I mean, as long as he throws a good fart and it's dry, doesn't leave any stains, then he's all right. And he's good. All right. That's the way to start off the interview. Okay. I like it. All right. All right.
Devontae Parker is back, by the way. Devontae Parker is practicing today. Nice. X is not practicing, still a hold-in. Flores actually addressed and said that there is progress being made regarding the contract dispute, or it's headed in the right direction. Let me paraphrase that properly, which basically means that they're having some sort of dialogue and discussion about improving the deal.
Okay. All right. That would be a miracle. I did not believe that was going to happen. I believe more that he would get traded.
Neither did X.
Yeah.
But it seems like Parker's troublesome ankle and and the fact that the secondary is being roasted. I've never seen anything like it ever in my 13 years covering this team. They have been carved up by every single quarterback here. Has got their attention.
Yeah. Well, again, no hitting. So until I start seeing hitting, then I can measure everything going on, timing and everything else. The receivers have too much of an advantage right now when there's no hitting going on.
Absolutely.
Overall. By the way, I was going to ask you, is Parker playing tight end since they have no tight end?
Jakeem Grant just scored a touchdown in red zone from Brissett, just so you can explain your cheers there.
Okay.
What was the question?
Is Parker playing tight end since they have no tight ends?
Oh, stop it. They have like 3 tight ends on the rock. They're 3 here. They're 3 still healthy.
So you mean Shaheen didn't get everybody else infected?
Stop it. It's not Shaheen. Why are you blaming it on Shaheen? Listen, this is just the nature of the NFL now. And we've had this discussion, me and you, for the last 2 weeks. They're testing players every 2 weeks. Right now, we know that people are contracting COVID, especially this new variant, even if you've had the vaccine.
I know.
So let me ask you a question. What do you think happens when they go to Burger King, get a burger for somebody who has COVID, and then come back to practice, sit up in meetings rooms for the next week to go to lunch, sit in lunch table with each other for the next week. And that one player who had a bad experience at his burger joint catches COVID, interacts with the team for 5-6 days, sits in his team meeting room, talks to his team position coach, gives a fist bump to the Gatorade guy. What do you think is possibly going to happen when that player tests the next 2 weeks, or the team tests the next 2 weeks?
Oh, I'm with you. Have you seen Adam Shaheen's Twitter page?
I have, and I don't judge anybody based on their Twitter page, based on the fact that you would judge me based on my Twitter page. Yes.
But he says, I will not comply. So I'm just saying, and he's got a whole bunch of Cole Beasley quotes there. So, I'm just looking at him. He's an anti-vaxxer. So that might be a guy that he's actually putting himself at risk of getting cut. If somebody's his equal, they're going to go, well, let's take the vaccinated guy, not the unvaccinated guy.
Yeah, but here's the thing. And people want to sit here and blame it on the vaccine player, the unvaccinated player. And that's not fair. It's not responsible. It's not healthy. An unvaccinated player has just as much a chance as catching COVID from his fast food spot as a vaccinated player. An unvaccinated player has just as much a chance of spreading COVID throughout the locker room as a vaccinated player. I'm not going to sell that narrative to people. I am vaccinated. You are vaccinated. We have just as much a chance, especially with this new variant, of catching COVID and spreading it. I didn't say getting sick from COVID, but catching COVID and spreading it to our coworkers and our teammates just as much as Adam Shaheen. So I don't like the fact that people want to sit here and blame that there's an infection rate in the tight end room on Adam Shaheen because he's a non-vaxxer. That's not fair. That's not responsible. That's not reasonable. You and I can catch COVID just as fast and spread it just as much as Adam Shaheen. What we cannot do is we probably won't get as sick as Adam Shaheen because we have the antibodies in our body. Now that Adam Shaheen has COVID and he has the antibodies in his body, he shouldn't need the vaccine. Like there's a vaccine, there's an antibody load that you could test, and you could do an antibody test, and you can learn this. I know all this because my mind's in the medical field.
Although I don't know how long the antibodies last compared to
the vaccine. They do not last long.
Okay, and so that's probably why you're better off still getting the vaccine.
And in fact, they will tell you now or next month that, you got vaccinated, but you got vaccinated if you're in the elderly endangered community. You probably need to get vaccinated every 6 months because your viral load goes down, and they've studied it, and I believe the Johnson & Johnson goes down the worst after 6 months.
Well, yeah.
This is things.
Johnson & Johnson was for the people in a hurry. They only wanted to get one shot.
If you had caught COVID, you probably were recommended had caught COVID previously, you're probably recommended to get the Johnson & Johnson because you just needed one viral load to boost your viral load. This is here, and here's the thing, understand, and people have to understand, yes, the CDC, the medical community, the doctors are all making this stuff up as they go because they're all just figuring it out.
Of course.
When my wife was pregnant, they were absolutely not. Do not get the vaccine. We don't know what the vaccine does to pregnant women. And then by the time we had our baby, it became, you need to go get the vaccine because because the vaccine passes, the antibodies pass to the babies of the breast milk. And then my baby was a month old, and they were telling all pregnant women to get the vaccine. We are making this stuff up as we go, and we're figuring out, and it's trial and error, and people are going to die. But you're safer with the vaccine than without the vaccine.
Well, no, I mean, I got Trey here who says, if you're under 50, COVID ain't making you sick. Meanwhile, there are more people actually in hospitals now, under 40 actually, than there was in the first go-around. But see, people like Trey, you're freaking lost. And you say stupid-ass stuff like, if you're under 50, COVID ain't making you sick. Hey, Trey, way to go with the stupid-ass comment of the day. Nice job by you on the board. Way to go, Trey. Nice job by you. Thank you for watching the show and all that, but, thank you for the stupid-ass comment, too. We can make fun of it. It's awesome. Anyway, look up the facts there, Trey, for once in your life. All right, so what do you read into the changes on the O-line? Because if you're not hitting how in the hell do you know who belongs where? So is it more about somebody not knowing mentally what they're supposed to do? Because I can't imagine Skura doesn't know mentally what he's supposed to do. So how does Dieter overtake him when you're not hitting?
Okay, let me clarify the Dieter situation, because I think that doesn't really have anything to do with depth chart. Dieter's a third-round pick. They're going to give him every possible chance to win that job because he is a Flores and a Greer draftee, as opposed to Skura, who is just a roster filler, camp body. There's no upside in investing in him. If he's clearly the better guy, they'll go with Skura. I have watched the first week of practice, and even without pads, Skura is on the ground way too much for my liking, my personal liking. Let me move on to depth.
And so wait a minute before you go there. So then the same thing is going on with Jesse then, because Jesse's been here a while. They're giving him a legitimate shot to be the right tackle. Okay.
Actually, I could clarify all of that for you. I asked today, you know how much I love offensive line. Jesse is on a management program. Jesse has obviously there's a knee issue or a leg issue that Jesse's had since OTA. He's on a rep count for practice. He participates in the early portion, does not participate in the second half. Jesse, they know Jesse can play everything but center. Jesse is right now penciled in as a starter if he can stay healthy. I'm bothered by whatever this issue is that he has with his right knee. They had Adam Eichenberg. I hope I said his name correct. I'm struggling with his
Eichenberg is right.
They had Adam Eichenberg at left guard. He's traditionally played right tackle during camp here. They moved him to left guard. And Flores clarified it and said, it's about being able to cross-train these guys. If something happens in a game and he's not a starter, we need to be able to move you over there or move you here, and you play this position. So they're basically making him the Jesse Davis Jr. right now in terms of cross-chaining him to play a lot of positions. And Flores has been adamant about this for 3 years and never, ever wavered. He is going to play the top 5 offensive linemen and figure out where they play. He doesn't care what position they are. My top 5 guys play.
Right. So in other words, read nothing into what you've seen on the changes of the O-line until we start getting to games then.
Actually, yes, until we put on pads and then we get into joint practices and then we get into games.
Right.
But
That's
I
what
think
I mean.
you can read something into the fact that Solomon Kinley is now a third-team guard.
Okay, yes. You
without a doubt can read something into that.
Yeah, and that has to do either with conditioning or it has to do with preparation, because it can't be really play because they're not hitting. So it has to be something in the other areas, correct?
I am not a huge Solomon Kinley fan, as people who follow me know. I thought he was the worst performer of the offensive lineman last year, and it was a consistent thing. It wasn't just a fluke thing. He's John Jerry Jr. in my mind. He's a very respectable player in pass protection, gives you nothing in the run game. And until he gives you something in the run game, I have absolutely no use for him. And that's just my personal opinion. And I hope this new offensive line coach has the same approach, because in my mind, if you improve this run game, you will make this team and this offense dynamic. And if you don't improve this run game, you're just going to be a mediocre offense like you've always been.
Well, no, if you don't improve the run game, then you will have our 77th offensive line coach in 3 years.
Fourth and fifth in 3 years. Yes.
I'm Cuban, bro. We exaggerate. Okay. Remember, it's a law for Cubans. We exaggerate. All right. So we look at, I got to say, Tua, again, not hitting, so I don't measure much, but he looked good on Saturday.
Tua's look good. There's no, and as Flores says it, I'm glad Flores says it and I don't say it, but today Flores says he's looked good. He knows the offense, praised him for his accuracy, but he says he's got a long way to go, and it's super early. And they haven't even installed their blitz packages yet. When they install their blitz packages, maybe we can talk about what Tua looks like. It's a long process. The arm looks phenomenal. The accuracy is amazing. The decision making is impeccable. I have never seen this offense look better in terms of being more explosive. But that leads me to wonder, how much is this secondary trash without Xavier? And two, what's it going to look like when it faces somebody else? Because the defense has to be embarrassed by what they put on the field last week because they were getting roasted. As I wrote in my 10 things to look, 10 things we learned from week one. The number one standout was that the offense was carving up the defense like a Thanksgiving turkey all week. No exceptions.
Yeah,
there was no.
But I saw completions on Saturday that would have been sacks. They weren't.
Yes, there were. Yes,
so
yes, completions on Saturday that would have been sacks. Absolutely, no question about that.
And I'm sure that's happening every day until I see a real pass rush that will then complement the secondary. At this point in time, I can't put any weight in anything right now.
You're correct.
I mean,
I'll share a story with you. Probably one of the better. Chad Pennington was the best practice performer I'd ever seen. And then Ryan Fitzpatrick is really good too. But you know who's a great practice performer? Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler can carve you up as a defense when he doesn't have to fear being hit.
Right.
And he was a completely different quarterback in a game than he was at practice because he was terrified of being hit.
Right.
And if he felt footsteps, that ball was coming early. He didn't care where it went. He didn't care who it was close to. He just didn't care. And that kind of, you're right. You got to see pressure, players with pressure. Right now, Tua doesn't have to worry about getting hit.
Right.
So he's sitting there a little bit longer. He's and he's really got good pocket presence. I love his pocket presence. His pocket presence and his accuracy and his leadership intangibles. Those are the reason why I advocated for the Dolphins to draft him. And I have never been disappointed at one moment in any of those three instances.
And by the way, he will excel at ad-libbing too. That's the other thing. It just hasn't developed as much here yet because he hasn't been a full-time starter. But I saw it at Alabama at times. He can ad-lib also, and to me, that's the sign of a guy having a chance to be a great quarterback. The great quarterbacks can perform under chaos. That things happen, they break down. Somebody blows a tackle, but then you've got to roll out somewhere and find somebody. That's where he's going to excel at being crafty back there when things break down. You'll see. Yeah.
He just threw a touchdown pass to Albert Wilson, but they're doing 7-on-7 red zone, so it's like it's easy money for that drill.
By the way, apparently your boy Jakeem Grant has played well. He had a couple catches on Saturday.
Yeah, he's stepping up. He's stepping up. It'll be interesting. I'm curious to see where people would stack him up. Oh, this is not 7-on-7. This is half field drills. Yeah, Tua throws touchdowns which is great. He just threw a touchdown to, I believe, Savon. Yeah, Ahmed.
Okay.
So it's defense has got a lot of work to do. This is really one of the first times I've seen that the offense is really, really ahead of the defense.
Yeah, and listen, I think he's a lock to make the team because the second half of the receiving group, Jakeem.
Jakeem?
Yeah, because I know you don't think so, but I think he's a lock because the second half of the receiving core has to help you out on special teams. And they got a shitload of guys that don't help you out on special teams. So those are the guys that are like as much as Albert Wilson's playing well, I think he gets traded. They don't keep him because he doesn't help you out on special teams.
Yeah, you got a point. There's some merit to that.
Alan Hearns doesn't help you out on special teams. Preston Williams, if he can't stay healthy and ball out, he doesn't help you out on special teams. Devontae Parker, your starters.
Preston has been a gunner his rookie year, so yeah.
Yeah, but he's not a gunner on this team right now. You know what I'm saying?
You got Mac Hollins as a gunner, but yeah, I think Preston could be a gunner. Preston's been a punt returner, a gunner. Remember, he got hurt as a punt returner, so a
guy that can't stay healthy, you're going to put him in a collision position. No,
I don't even know if he's going to be a starter. I mean, no. Here's how I see this receiving core. You got Parker, who is practicing today. We'll see what he does. You got Fuller, you got Waddle, and then you got Albert. There's no way I'm taking Albert out of the equation. That's four very talented.
Albert has to be an everyday starter in order for him to make it on this team.
Albert Wilson?
Yeah.
Albert Wilson, there's no doubt he's on this team. Albert Wilson's been the top playmaker every single day.
I think he'll be traded if anything.
Oh, wow.
Now, if he makes
I don't support that.
If he makes the team, that means the guys that we thought were going to be front line, like Parker and Williams, somebody fell off the board there. Is what I'm saying.
Damn it, who just dropped the touchdown? Anyway, keep going. Sorry.
All right, no, I'm just saying that in order for him to be one of the starters, the
10.
guys that we penciled in as starters had to have failed at some point here in the next few weeks. Like
guys that we penciled in as starters had to have failed.
Yeah, like
or got hurt, or gotten hurt. Yeah,
right.
No. You saying for Albert? No, Albert right now. There's no way you take him out of the starting lineup. There's I don't care who you got to replace. There's no way I'm putting Fuller over him right now. Albert,
you're going off too much football without
understand. I've watched 13 years of practice, and I know you know what the deal is in terms of watching practice.
Yeah.
The most dominant performer I've ever seen on a practice field has been Brandon Marshall, and that was when he first got here. He absolutely dominated Vontae and Sean Smith and everybody else, and just imposed his will on the field. I have never seen anything ever in my career like I saw from Albert Wilson last week. Nothing.
Yeah, but
Nothing.
There's no pads going on. I can't.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I watch a lot of practice without pads. I watch practice without hitting. I've never seen anything like Albert Wilson.
I can't.
I know you can't buy it. I wouldn't have tried to sell it to you until I saw it last week. I've never seen anything like that. Touchdowns every day. Big plays every day. Roasting safeties every day. The 2018 version of Albert Wilson, who led the NFL in yards after the catch, that guy is back. Before he got hurt and suffered the hip injury, that guy is back. And in fact, I think he's better than that guy because he's slimmer, he moves better. I would have never, ever, ever expected this from Albert Wilson. Never, ever in a million years.
I got to see more, bro, before I go, overboard for Albert Wilson.
All you got to do is go on the Dolphins page and look at their daily highlights. Albert Wilson is the highlight every day, and they produce all the clips of all his big plays, and they're all phenomenal. They're all not, Tua is holding on to the ball too long, and it would have been a sack. Nah, it's Albert's phenomenal, and he's roasting guys. They're about to start 11 on 11s.
All right. And listen, by the way, the O-line was the same as it was on Saturday. Jesse, Hunt, Dieter, Eichenberg, and Jackson.
To be honest with you, I have not been able to look because I'm trying to look right now, and they actually started 11 on 11s with the second team, which is weird, but I'll accept it. They started 11 on 11s with the second team offense, and now the second is this the second team defense? Hold on, I'm trying to see. Yeah, this is the second team. So second team's is starting 11 on 11s today, which is not something I'm used to.
So you got Albert Wilson making the team, and he's balling.
Albert Wilson is not making the team. Albert Wilson is a starting receiver for the Dolphins.
And yet Jakeem Grant is balling, but you don't have him making the team.
Jakeem Grant is not balling. Jakeem Grant has had a couple of good days. Albert Wilson is balling. I've never seen anybody in a Dolphins uniform practice the way that Albert Wilson practiced last year. Last week. And I've been here 13 years. I've been here 13 years, Big O.
You're killing
13.
You're killing JG, bro. You're not giving him any love.
Okay. Sorry. I'm not feeding the Jakeem Grant hater. Omar's a Jakeem Grant hater. Fuel. If Jakeem makes this team, it'll be as a punt returner and a kick specialist, and I believe he has more trade value. He has trade value that you need to use to go get you another asset.
All right, go do the 11 on 11s. Go do your work, my man. I appreciate you taking some time here on the EJDconstruction.com.
You're not getting me on that Jakeem Grant hate train today. Nah, I'm not. Jakeem wanted to fight me as a rookie. I'm gonna wait it out this trade, and I'm gonna survive.
You're the best, my brother.
All right.
I'll talk to you later in the week. You be good. There you go. Omar.
You've been listening to the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins Report with Omar Kelly. For additions, home remodeling, or custom work, call Eric at 305-433-4843. EJDconstruction.com is the custom home builder and general contractor you can trust. 305-433-4843.
All right, so listen, because I see you guys are there like Albert Wilson's balling. And let's see what else. Wilson's playing like crazy. Oh, you're what is it? You're not giving him enough credit or something. What is it here? Somebody said something else. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not that I'm not giving him credit. I'm not buying anything in this first week of practice. They're not hitting. They're not hitting. So I got to see Albert Wilson do the same stuff when everything is normal and back on. And I got to see him stay healthy, also take some hits. Remember, he came back from a hip injury too. And he was starting to look kind of good last year. He got a little bit of, when you got a little bit of a glimpse, but overall, not last year, the year before. But the bottom line is, we're talking about a young man that's hasn't played in a while, and you're playing in a week where you're playing in shorts. I don't buy any of this stuff. I'm sorry, man. I'm old school. I got to see pads. I got to see hitting. I got to see everything going. I got to see corners playing physical. I got to see all of that going on, and then Albert coming through in all those areas. And then, yes. And remember, Albert Wilson doesn't help you as a special teamer. So does he become a starter? Because he's not in front of Fuller and Waddle. And then if you're going to have a big guy like Preston or obviously Parker, then where do you put Albert Wilson? And so if he starts to become the 5th or 6th or 7th receiver, he doesn't make this team, because you can't keep a guy that doesn't help you out on special teams at that part of it. So you keep the other kids that help you out in all kinds of areas. You got one kid that can help you out on special teams, on offense, all over the place. You see what I'm saying? So you have to handle this the right way right now, the way you look at this. I can't buy an Albert Wilson yet. It's nice that he's running around in shorts and making all kinds of catches. I've seen that many times over the years. The guys that excel without pads and everything going on, and then all of a sudden, when the pads come on, when everything gets physical, then things change. And then others raise their game. So I am not going, maybe Albert Wilson is a starter. Maybe he makes this team right now. But at the moment, from what I've seen the last week, a couple of highlights in shorts, get the hell out of here, bro. I'm not, there's no part of me that is buying anything going on right now with the Miami Dolphins. I love the team. I think they're going to make the playoffs. I already told you that. But I'm not going to also, if I don't see something, I'm not going to create it. And I'm not going to make stuff up. And just because Albert Wilson's catching a couple passes in shorts doesn't mean shit to me, man. Doesn't mean anything. Let me get to the practices against the teams. Let me get to the preseason. Let me see where he's at then. Okay, now that he'll be weeks into camp, and then they'll be hitting and all kinds of stuff. Let's see how everything works out. And also the other thing is, if some of these guys can't come back from injuries, or if Parker suffers another injury or whatever, or Preston Williams, you know what I mean? That also is going to help the young man make the roster. But I first have to get to the point where they're actually hitting before I judge anything about Albert Wilson. I mean, that's the way I look at it. I can't change the way I've looked at football my entire life. And that's what when I was sitting there on Saturday, this was just nothing but a fluff practice. There was no substance whatsoever in that practice because they're not hitting. They're not in pads. Touch football that's not what you're playing on Sundays. It's a different game. Once you get physical, it's a completely different game. Big O, this applies to all the players. Exactly. That's why. What did I tell you when I started the show? I thought, yeah, Jalen Waddle looks fast. And yeah, Albert Wilson made a couple catches and Tua made a couple of nice passes. But none of it means anything to me. You know what I mean? And I'm convinced Tua's going to be a baller. But again, what I saw on Saturday, okay, so show me accuracy. I know he has accuracy. Not surprised. I need to see everything else because I worry more about the offensive line giving him time so he can go find his guys. I worry about, okay, who are the receivers that are going to be there for them, right? Fuller's already got a little nick here, so you got to get him back onto the field. Got to get Preston Williams back onto the field. The tight ends now have got COVID, so hopefully they all get through this COVID stuff without anything permanently affecting them and get their asses back on the field and get things going. But I got to see pads, man. I have to see pads because that's the way the game is played. And then I'll be more impressed with everything going on. Martinez says, Jakeem can't help us unless it's special teams. Well, maybe. Martina, he caught 90 balls in college. So, and apparently he's catching them right now. So we'll see. But what he does on special teams, he's one of the 3 best in the NFL. You just don't discard that. It's not like it's not like you can go find another guy that's going to be top 3 in the NFL in returns. So playing down Jakeem Grant kind of goes into the ignorance that others have fallen into with Jakeem Grant. I just have to say it that way because it's I'm personally tired of people just slamming Jakeem Grant and then thinking like, oh no, we'll get rid of him. Like he's nothing. And it's like, well, wait a minute, man. What do you think? Returners are born on trees? It's a lot harder to return the football nowadays than it's ever been in the NFL. And yet he's one of the 3 best in the NFL. Since he got in the league, there aren't many better than him. You just don't discard that. So by saying, oh, he only helps you on special teams, well, special teams can be touchdowns and special teams can be field position, which changes everything that you're doing in football. Instead of starting out at your own 20, you're starting out at your own 45 or their 45. So if you're going to downplay that, oh, he can only help us out on special teams, then you really don't understand how important special teams are. I hear this crap about Jakeem Grant just way too much. Way too much. Greg says, are you a fan of the 2 joint practices approach? Greg, that's one of the few times they'll actually get real work. Okay? Those joint practices are better than a preseason game. I'm a huge fan of that. When Flo's announced he was doing 2 of them, I was like, this guy's a badass. This guy's freaking awesome. Let's see. Jakeem catches everything in camp when the season starts. He's Mr. Drop-Ball. Maximum 2 productive touches per game. Mac Hollins is more useful. Yeah, but not on special teams. Again, not on special teams. Nobody on the team is better than he is on special teams. So, again, you're losing the point. And I've said over and over again, now that you have a real receiving core, if it stays healthy, you don't need to use Jakeem that much as a receiver. But you got to keep him because he's a dynamic returner. And 29 of the teams don't have a Jakeem Grant. Preston on the PUP and COVID list, the kid has no breaks. Yeah, I know Preston has had terrible luck. It's not ignorance. We all watched Jakeem last year, not good, and he had 2 returns last year. We can do better, especially for the money. No, you can't, Martina. It shows that you really don't understand what's going on special teams and how good that kid is. But you're not alone, Martina. There's a bunch of you that are completely lost in Jakeem, and you all have, I was going to say something else, but because it's you, Martina, I won't say it. If it was a guy, I probably would have said it. But, you're all lost. Basically, you all don't know what the hell you're talking about. Let's put it that way. Okay. I'll be nice that way, Martina. Those of you that think that Jakeem Grant should just go aside and for the money you can replace it, you all don't know what the hell you're talking about. Okay. Are we clear on that? You have 0 clue. 0. Understand that. Okay. Those of you dissing Jakeem Grant is thinking, oh, yeah, he can be easily replaced. You're wrong. Okay? Dead wrong. If Jakeem only plays special teams, would his contract as of right now be worth it? Yeah. Yeah, if he plays special teams, hell yeah. Any of you ever follow sports at all? You guys ever follow football? You guys ever heard of great returners in the league? You think you kept Brian Mitchell around because he was a running back? You think you kept Mel Gray around because he was a receiver or running back? Is that what you think? Seriously. Come on. Sometimes you're lucky and you end up with Deion Sanders, and then he's also your returner. Okay, great. But they don't have a Deion Sanders. So a Jakeem Grant fills the need that several returners, great returners over the history of football, have all had a spot on their roster. Do you think we kept around Fulton Walker for anything but returns? Or do any of you know Fulton Walker? Because apparently some of you there, you have no freaking idea what a returner is. And by asking me, do you think that if he's just a returner, he deserves a spot on the roster? Seriously, are you going to ask me that? Do you know the history of football? When you have an elite returner, yeah, he earns a spot on the roster. My God, some of you, like, seriously, you need to take some history lessons in the game. Learn the damn game. Learn what happened in this game in the past. How the hell is anybody going to ask me that if he only does special teams, does he deserve a spot on the roster? What kind of freaking question is that? Wow. Man, is this football 101 now? I got to teach you guys this game from Raw? Wow, this team is supposed to have a great D, which equals punts. Why not have a great guy returning them? Seriously, man. Wow, it's just, it's sometimes, man, I tell you, fans, that's why you're fans. You're just fanatics. You don't really think. You just say shit. You just pull crap out of your ass. And like, hey, that's it. Like, no team's ever kept a guy around just because he's a returner. That's holy crap, man. Let's see, what do we have? Special teams is probably the most important group on the team. It's one of them. I don't know about most important, but it's important, man. It's important. I remember we had a receiver named Robert Baker catching passes nonstop in practice, put on the practice squad, eventually released. The actual game is what counts. I agree 100%. Happens all the time. So if the team trades him, they don't know football. If the team trades him, then they're going to use somebody else. Obviously, that's going to be a really good returner. And if they don't have a really good returner that replaces him, then yes, the team effed up. Is that pretty clear for you? Right? Is that what it is? Because I know you didn't draft Jalen Waddle at number 6 to make him a full-time receiver and a full-time returner. That would not be very smart. Right? And especially a guy coming off foot surgery. So I would imagine that Jakeem Grant easily makes this team. But if he doesn't, then you better have a dynamic returner to replace him, because if you don't, then you know what's the beauty of it is? The same people that have no freaking clue talking about Jakeem Grant right now are the same people that midway through the season, if they cut him and they have nobody returning kicks and they're not getting great field position, those are the same people that are going to say, why did they cut Jakeem Grant? He's a returner. So, I mean, really, seriously, man, it gets to a point where it's just ridiculous. It just is. Weapon X United, thank you, sir, for sending in a little super chat. Appreciate you, my man. Big O, why not trade Mr. Glass? Get his trade value up and put him on the block. Why are these blind-ass fans so focused on trading Grant? Mr. Glass should be on the trade bait. Weapons X. And I would imagine you're talking about Devontae Parker. But the thing is, here's what you have to weigh into account. All right, listen to me. Mr. Glass, you could probably get maybe a 5th rounder, 6th rounder, because he's Mr. Glass, and it's a $10 million salary, right? Well, I think it's a little less, actually. But still, whoever you're trying to trade him to, they're not going to trust that he stays healthy either. So I don't know if there's a big market for Mr. Glass. Now, Jakeem Grant, let's just say, let me ask you, those of you that want to get rid of Jakeem Grant just for fun, do you think you're going to get a third rounder in return? So if you're not going to get a pretty high pick, let's say they offer you a fifth or a sixth rounder. Is it really worth getting rid of one of the best returners in the NFL for a third day pick? Because you're not going to get a second or a third round pick, right? So if you're not going to get a second or third round pick, because in order for you to get a high pick, it has to be a team that says, oh, yeah, we're a returner away from the Super Bowl. And they're not going to tell you that. So if you're not going to get a high pick, then you're giving away field position for what? You know what I mean? It doesn't also make sense that way. To me, it makes zero sense. Anybody that keeps dissing like Jakeem Grant is not worth it, man. I don't get that. I don't get that because it's great to have a returner that can actually get it done. Now, one of the things that I wanted to talk about also is this misconception that's out there about the Dolphins, because again, one person says something stupid, and then here goes a bunch of other idiots that follow because they can't think for themselves. They just repeat the same stupid thing that somebody else said. Okay? And we've had plenty of examples of those lately. By the way, don't forget to smash the hell out of that like button. Here's the latest thing that goes around from the lazy Dolphin fan. Hey, the Dolphins have got to fix this problem with X because everybody around the league's looking at it and their great players don't want to stay. And then you have another idiot that hears that and then starts repeating the same stupid statement. Okay, first of all, the Dolphins don't have a problem. It's two guys that had a problem. It's Minka and it's X. That's it. Tunsil was not a disgruntled player. Tunsil, in fact, told Chris Greer, hell, I would have traded me too if they're giving me that. They weren't trading Tunsil. Tunsil wasn't disgruntled. I don't think they were looking forward to giving him the money, but they were going to give it to him because they had no choice the following year, and he got it from Houston the following year. Fine, whatever. But the trade they could not, you cannot pass that trade up. In fact, it's still giving picks next year. And he could still roll that one over into more picks. So that it's a trade that doesn't stop giving as it is. It's two guys. Under Flores and Greer, it's two guys. Minka bitched and complained, and they traded his ass out of here. And now they've got this issue, which I think would end up in a trade, but apparently they might be working on something. We'll see. We'll see. But that's it. This whole thing about, the Dolphins have a problem keeping their great players, and this is going to go around. Like some guy sent me that on Twitter yesterday. Well, this is, the league is looking at it and players around, all this and that. I go, why are you overreacting, dude? It's two people. You make it sound like it's habitual. You make it sound like it's a ton of players. He even threw Jarvis Landry in there. Now, first of all, Jarvis has nothing to do with Greer and Flo. That was a Gase thing. That was done before. But again, people make shit up just to try to make a point that has no base whatsoever. There are no facts to it, no nothing. You're just making stuff up. But then you've got one idiot after another that then repeats it because they don't think for themselves. We got a lot of that going on in this world. I mean, seriously, let's go. The Dolphins have zero issues. Everything is great with the Dolphins. They tore this thing down. They cleaned up their cap. They loaded themselves up with picks. They went from 5 wins to 10. They got potential this year to become a playoff team. I think they will be a playoff team when it's all said and done. Everything is great. And as I told him, they went and won 10 games without Tunsil and Minka last year. So stop talking about that. And as I've told you guys that watch the show all the time and listen and download, the same guy that drafted Minka drafted Javon Holland. The same guy that drafted X drafted Noah. The same guy that drafted Tunsil drafted Austin Jackson. So if one set of players can be good, why can't the next set of players be good? Why is it? Maybe it's the guy that actually picks the players is actually pretty good. I mean, look at Van Ginkel. He found in the 5th round. He did find X in the 2nd round, which is a franchise-like player in the 2nd round. And yes, if Tunsil turns out to be a great player, it's still his draft pick. He had to trade him, but whatever. Minka's played well. That's still his draft pick. It's still his track record. That's part of his track record. So I look at what they do overall. He finds Agba at a freaking bargain. I'm happy to see Vince Beagle back because that guy in that rotation, that's going to help out. Jalen Phillips should turn out to be a player. I mean, it just goes over and over and over and over, and you start looking at it, and they do a much better job of finding talent. As knuckleheaded as I feel Adam Shaheen is about the vaccine, he's actually turned out to be a pretty good acquisition. He sucked in Chicago, but they had 8,000 tight ends and didn't know what to do with him. Since he's been here, he's actually been a nice acquisition for them. I mean, the guy that actually picks the players, you got to kind of give them you got to give them the benefit of the doubt at least at this point in time. And that's where this whole thing of, the Dolphins have a real problem keeping their great players. No, they don't. They have no problem. X is the one that's had problems. He's the guy that has the domestic issue. He's the guy that's had the knee issues. He's the guy that doesn't understand his own contract. Dolphins haven't had a problem. As far as I'm concerned, X is his own problem. X is the burden on X, not the Dolphins, not Chris Greer, not Coach Flo, not his new agent. No, it's him and apparently his old agent. And Minka was bitching and complaining. His mom was bitching and complaining. Has nothing to do with the Dolphins. Javon Hollins come in. He's fine with being the Swiss Army knife. We need you in the nickel. No problem. We need you at free safety. No problem. Cover the tight end. Cover the receiver. No problem. Kid wants the ball. Wants to play. I see a team that went from 5 to 10 wins. The problem isn't with the Dolphins. So painting this picture like it is ignorant. Minka has his own problems, and X has his own problems. Dolphins didn't create any problems. Dolphins are trying to put together a winning team, and in the process, they've already done it, by the way, in their 2nd year, which let's not leave the facts out either. But go ahead, make crap up every day. That's what we need to hear. Make shit up. The Dolphins have problems keeping their best players. Nothing could be further from the truth. They're actually creating the kind of environment that players want to be a part of. Do you think players with intelligence around the league are looking at the X situation and blaming the Dolphins? When the guy said in his own statement, I didn't understand my contract. Well, then, dude, that's your effing problem. And you probably shouldn't say that because it makes you look really dumb. Seriously. That's what X did. X made himself look stupid in that moment. Well, yeah, no, I'm mad at the Dolphins because I didn't understand my contract. What? And then, so if you don't understand your contract, then you also weren't smart enough to understand that your contract was going to be outdated anyways. Like every contract that's signed in the NFL, practically, it'll be outdated because it set a new standard, and then others will follow and beat that. And if you, and put it this, let me tell you something. If X needs his agent to tell him, hey, by the way, don't be surprised by next year if this deal's beaten by 3 other 4 corners. If you need your agent to tell you that, then you're not very bright as it is. Let's lay the cards on the table. Let's be honest about all of this. Okay? So while X wants to be honest, he doesn't look in the mirror much and actually blame himself. He instead will lie and say, well, I've been on this deal for 2 years. No, you haven't, dude. Been on the deal 1 year. You didn't even play last year. So whatever money you made last year, you actually got a bonus because you didn't do jack for that money. But no, let's leave out the facts. Let's leave out the facts that the team stayed by his side during the entire domestic violence issue. And they could have thrown him under the bus, not release him, because we all know they're not going to release players, unless it's incredibly graphic or whatever that happens and there's pictures or videos, then maybe that would have happened. But there wasn't any of that. And they still stood by him. But, of course, let's leave all of that. The Dolphins are the bad people. That's why when this guy told me that yesterday, it's like, get the hell out of here with this crap, dude. Let's go. Dolphins are just fine. They're doing great. Ragin' Kane says, love the show. Thank you, sir. George says, spitting some facts. Thank you. Adam K. Big O has the best Dolphins takes. Tune in all the time from New York. Fins up. F the Jets. I like you, Adam. I like you. F the Jets. That's it. George says, 100% right about X, Big O. He's exactly that. X is the burden on X. He is. Apparently. He's the only one that creates problems for himself. The only problem the Dolphins have is how to beat Buffalo. That's going to end this year, Rosendo. That's ending this year. They're going to beat Buffalo this year. Sean says, I'm under 50 and almost died. Spent 6 days in the ICU. Really? Shit, dude. Well, I'm glad you're still here with us, my brother. Thank you. Thank the Lord that you're still here with us. The sad part is we've lost a lot of humans. Forget about Americans. We've lost a lot of people worldwide, man. And there's no reason for us to continue losing the kind of numbers we're losing now still. That number should be a lot lower if we would get everybody vaccinated. John says, how many of each positions they'll keep up to them? Maybe they'll keep 7. I don't think they'll go 8, John. I think they'll go 6 or 7. Okay? By the way, has anybody run into John Rouse anywhere on the street? Has anybody? Because if you run into John Rouse on the street, all right, make sure you check his pulse, because the guy is probably right now like his pulse is probably at 200 and something, which is your heart's probably exploding. But with Ethereum at 2666, he's only a couple $100 away from 50% return on his investment already. John, you're a beast. You're enjoying that Ethereum run. Have you, by the way, anybody following crypto, have you noticed how much stronger Ethereum is over Bitcoin? Because Bitcoin has, it went up to 42, and I don't know where it's at now. I got to look it up to see where it's at now. Let me see. I'll tell you right now where Bitcoin is at. But Bitcoin was pretty. It's at 39. It's at 39.9 right now. So it's down 2,000. But Ethereum has not gone down the way Bitcoin did now. It's actually shot up, and it's actually held a lot better. So look out. And we are 2 days away from the latest upgrade to Ethereum, and that's going to be an absolute monster and a game changer. They're going to have way more transactions now, so value is going to go up. Watch Ethereum, watch Polygon also. If you're invested in Polygon, watch it go up too now over the next couple of weeks here too. So if you were able to invest in Polygon, and by the way, for those of you that are investing in Polygon, on crypto.com, you stake your Polygon, they give you 10% return. Okay? 10%. One more tip I have for you on the crypto side. If you're going to move any money over to stablecoin after you make some profit or you sell something off or whatever it is, the best stablecoin out there is Paxos. Okay? Better than USDC and certainly better than Tether. That has some question marks there. But Paxos is the best company. And if you're on crypto.com like I am, it's my favorite crypto exchange, they give you 10% on your Paxos. So even if you have, if you have $500 sitting in your savings account, you move it over to Paxos, right, on crypto.com, and then you stake that $500, and you're going to get $50 of interest by the end of the year on it. You're not going to get that in your bank. So you might as well build your income there, have, a little side income coming out of something like that. What you do is you keep stashing it and keep staking it, so you keep increasing your profits. You know what I'm saying? But Paxos is the best stable coin to use over Tether and over USDC. Okay, just a little tip for those of you out there. How did Marino play as a rookie? Oh, he lit it up, dude. He came off the bench against the Raiders. He started against the Bills, I believe, the following week, but he came off the bench against the Raiders and never looked back. Marino's a freak. Marino's a total freak. That guy, very few quarterbacks in the history. John Elway sucked. Peyton Manning sucked. Drew Brees sucked. Drew Brees sucked like holy moly, big large turds. Okay, he was bad for 3 years. You know what I'm saying? John Elway looked lost. I want to say 2 years. I want to say John Elway looked like completely lost. I can look up his stats. Lots of great quarterbacks struggled early on. It's kind of normal, actually. Tua played way better than John Elway and even Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning threw like 20-something interceptions. Yeah, he threw for almost 4,000 yards, but he also threw for like 20-something touchdowns, but he also threw 25 interceptions or something stupid like that. So, yeah, it's just one of those things where some people think that what Tua's doing is, different than other quarterbacks. No, man, plenty of quarterbacks have stunk it out early on. John Elway's first year, okay, he threw for 1,663 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions. Tua was way better. His second year, 18 touchdowns and 15 interceptions, 2,500 yards. Not a great year. Not terrible, but 18 of 15 is not good. And then the following year was 22 touchdowns and 23 interceptions. Elway didn't get going till his fourth year when he had 19 touchdowns and 13 interceptions. Different game also in the NFL, but still, it shows you that it took him a couple of years to kind of figure this whole thing out. So anybody that thinks this is something new, it's not new. Peyton Manning, his first year, here it is, 26 touchdowns, 28 interceptions, 3,700 yards, 56% completion percentage. It went up to 62, and it stayed in the 60s after that. But his first year wasn't very good. Marino, his first year, again, don't measure Marino to other quarterbacks, okay? 20 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He's a beast, dude. 58%. Only threw for 2,200 yards, but only played in 11 games. Well, 13 games. 11 games. Started 9, actually. So consider he started 9, 2,200 yards is actually really, really good. Then the following year, 48 and 17, and then 30 and 21, and 44 and 23. Forget about it, bro. Marino was just a completely different monster. He was. It was freakish, man. That's what it was. Watching Marino was one of the more freakish things you will ever see in your life. But it's the memory. See, it happens with fans. Like what we got into earlier. Like some fans were like, well, if Jakeem Moley is a returner, do you really save a roster spot for that? That's somebody that doesn't follow football. Right? When you say something like that to me, then I know you're not a historian, that you actually don't know anything about the game, that you're kind of following it half-ass. Because the league is littered with teams that kept guys just because they're returners. But you think you kept Devin Hester around because he was a receiver? Or did you keep him around because there was a returner? Yeah, that's another thing. That's funny that somebody would ask me that's a Miami fan, and there's a good chance they might be Miami Hurricanes fans. And yet Devin Hester was in their backyard, right? He's the greatest returner in the history of the game. And he couldn't do anything else. So you weren't, but you know what? Those fans, they'll keep Devin Hester because he's a Cane, but they don't keep Jakeem Grant. How hilarious is that? Like, so do you keep a guy around just because he's a returner? What kind of a stupid ass question is that? When you got a great returner, hell's to the yeah. Marino's knee injury really changed him on the field, and the Achilles. You know that Achilles, once he snapped it in Cleveland and it rolled up, he never fixed it again. You do know that, right? That's why he wore that plastic boot on the leg that had the blown Achilles. So the guy had all kinds of knee surgeries. The guy had no Achilles connected on one leg, and he kept playing. That's the kind of freak that guy was. Can you imagine if Marino was like a physical specimen, like if his body was like Cam Newton or something like that? Oh, man. But his body was falling all apart, dude. And yet he could still ball, bro. People like Marino don't exist, man. They're just complete freaks. They don't, the good Lord made that dude, but did not make many like him. And that's what eats me alive the most about Marino's career, is that he deserved the championship and he just never had that team that could equal his talent. Never had the running game and never had the defense. Elway was like that too, going to Super Bowls with Sammy Winder and the Three Amigos and all that other stuff. And they would get their asses kicked and get their asses kicked and get their asses kicked until they got those teams in the mid-90s that had a defense and had Terrell Davis. And then all of a sudden, John Elway went and won back-to-back championships and walked out into the sunset and had one of the most magical endings to any career for any pro athlete ever. But he was a lot like Marino in that sense. He was a much better athlete than Marino. But my point is that it didn't matter. He didn't have the team ever to get over the hump until they finally found the defense and a running game. And if you would have given Marino something close to that defense and half the running game of Terrell Davis, he wins the Super Bowl. He doesn't even need a 2,000-yard back. If you would have given Marino a 1,400-yard back and a good defense, he wins the Super Bowl. Easy. But he never had that. And that's what hurts me the most, that when you watch one of the ultimate freaks to ever play this game, and trust me, ladies and gentlemen, he is one of the ultimate freaks to ever play this game, and the guy just never had the right people around him to kind of finish the puzzle. It's frustrating, man. To this day, it still bothers me. It will, you know what? It'll always bother me. Always bother me. That's something, I don't think I'll ever lose that feeling of disgust of watching Marino walk out. And then he had to walk out on 62-7. That was just another thing that just enraged me, I got to say. Yeah. To this day, that's probably my biggest regret as a sports fan, is that I didn't get to see my favorite player of all time in a Dolphins uniform win a Super Bowl that he deserved in a big-time way. Jimmy Satterfield says he would have had that running back, but David Overstreet died. You are correct, sir. David Overstreet did have the skill sets to be that guy. You are right. Sammy wasn't, and we thought Sammy could be, because remember when he ran over the University of Miami defense, we go, okay, this guy's for real. Like, you knew he was good, but then when he did a number on the UM defense and he got like 158, 160 something yards, I forgot what it was, we were all like, holy crap, this guy is a badass. And then the Dolphins got him at, I think, number 9 overall. I want to say number 9 overall. Number 9 hasn't been kind to us, right? We got Ted Ginn, and we got what's it called? Sammy, the drug kingpin Smith. What else? I don't remember now. I think we might have had another number 9 that wasn't as good either. This goes to my point on Twitter. Jimmy relied on Abdul-Jabbar and J.J. Johnson, busted on Avery, Yatil, handcuffed Marino. Jimmy was not the right choice. Should have gone with Glanville or Pete Carroll. In hindsight, you're probably right, sir. You're probably right in hindsight. Now, then again, here's the plus minus to everything, okay? Maybe you would have been better off with Glanville or Carroll. Maybe not. Maybe you don't get anywhere, but then you don't end up with Jason Taylor and Zach Thomas and Sam Madison and Pat Surtain, which at least they gave us some really enjoyable football. I know it was tough on the offensive side, but damn, it was fun to watch those guys on defense for several years. So I do thank Jimmy for the defensive side that he was able to leave the Dolphins with some pretty special players. He was terrible on offense, man. God, he couldn't have made more bad decisions on offense. But it's kind of like he didn't do the job with Marino, but then he left a little bit of a legacy that unfortunately Wannstedt could not improve the offense to the point to match that defense. It was kind of the whole Marino thing again, right? Except it was the defense that could not get an offense to complement them and go deep into the playoffs. The defense was good enough to get you to the playoffs, but they didn't have the offense to help you get deep into the playoffs, unfortunately. Let's see. What else do we have here? Great feeling we always had with Marino. We never felt we were going to lose in the fourth quarter. He had that it factor. Yeah. Yeah. You always knew you had a chance for Marino. That is the truth. Isais goes, Devin Hester couldn't play CB, could not play wide receiver, but he could return punts and kicks with the best of them. Yeah. That's why great returners, of course, they earn roster spots. It's like, give me a break, dude. Watching Marino was like watching Michael Jordan play basketball or Babe Ruth playing baseball. It was pure poetry. Amen. 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 My favorite thing Marino used to do was the receiver be open and he'd zip the ball right past the ear of the DB into Duper's hands, Clayton's hands, whoever was there. And he had this knack that he would catch the DB not looking. Okay. It was just magical. And I would imagine, I would love to talk to DBs from that era just to talk about that ball whizzing past their ear. And he did it all the time. All the time. He had a radar like I've never seen before. He could find the open guy like that. He was not going to hold on to the ball. He was going to find somebody quickly. Okay. By the time he planted that leg, it was gone, dude. He already knew where he was going. That was sweet, man. Sweet. Really, really sweet. Marino was awesome in the beginning. Marino's first 3 years were probably his best. Yeah. I mean, well, the teams were probably his best too in those days. There were a couple of decent teams in the early 90s too, but I would say those early Marino teams were really, really good. They were deep all over the place. They weren't well, actually that might have been his better defenses early on, and then things went awry. And then by the time they got a good defense, he was already getting old at that point. As a rookie, Marino set several records. He posted a 96% passer rating. He had the lowest percentage of passes intercepted with 203. He was the only rookie quarterback to lead a conference in passing. He was amazing, man. He was amazing. Total freak of all freaks was Marino. Sorry, just joined. I became a fan of the year before Marino tore his Achilles. Why Miami was struggling in the late 80s. Let's hear about you attending a live concert. Was that still the one hippie dancing by himself with no shirt on, wearing a Speedo with no music playing? Yep, that was me. That was me. Damn, it was hot last night, dude. I got to admit, man, it was uncomfortable. I was dancing like an idiot and jumping up and down a little bit for my interrupters. I will admit that. Not for any of the other bands. And I enjoyed the hell out of Green Day. Don't get me wrong. I love Green Day. But the Interrupters are like, I love that band. I am an enormous fan of that band. I was totally into the Interrupters. And it was great because the pit wasn't full at that time. It might have been at maybe 30%. So it was cool. There weren't a lot of people in the pit. It got more crazy as the concert went on. And especially with Green Day, you had some folks that were even moshing. But yeah, no, I should have taken my shirt off as hot as it was. But with my kind of body, I don't want to freak people out, dude. You know, then there's people throwing up all over the place. They're getting sick. If they have, I don't even know if they had enough ambulances outside the building for me to take my shirt off. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't want to really get people to the point that they were going to lose out on the concert, because then they see me shirtless and they're throwing up and they're feeling sick. And then I ruined the concert for a lot of people. So I kept my shirt on. No, I didn't keep my shirt on. My shirt stayed stuck to me. Okay. It was like peeling something off in the car. That's what it was. When I got to the car, it was like, damn, this thing is stuck on me and all that. And just to take it all off, because it was absolutely soaked. Oh, have you ever seen White Zombie? Just getting into them. Yes, I have. Years back. We love Howard at practice. Okay. Sorry, let's see. Big O, do you have Marino games in your archive? I don't know. I mean, what do you mean, like videos? No, I don't. No, I could YouTube all that stuff nowadays. YouTube's my library. I could just put Dan Marino, and then games will come up with Dan Marino. So I could just do that instead. So no, I don't have any although I may have, like, maybe somewhere a VHS tape of Marino highlights somewhere with all my VHS tapes. Michael Jordan, what was it called? Something to Fly, or I don't know what the hell it was called. I have that video. I know that. I got some of those sports videos. I know I still have in that collection of my VHS tapes. When I was a season ticket holder of the Miami Heat, because I was a season ticket holder the first 4 years, and then I got in the business. And I have their first win ever against the Clippers. It was game 17, right? Game 18. They were 0-17, I believe. And then in their 18th game, they beat the Clippers on a Rory Sparrow shot off the elbow, I think it was. And that tape, that game, the Heat organization did a really classy thing. They gave all the season ticket members a VHS tape of that win. So you got it in the mail from them. And that, I thought that was actually a really cool gesture on their part. I still have that VHS tape of Rory Sparrow and company getting their first win for the Miami Heat. Any of you have that tape? Anybody out there was a season ticket holder? We got quite a few people watching right now. And please smash the hell out of that like button. Please, please, please. We got over 120 likes right now, which we thank. 126 now, but I see there's 193 in the chat. So several of you out there have not hit that like button, or that dislike button too. We got one person hitting that dislike button. It's all right if you dislike, that's fine. I love you either way. Even if you didn't get vaccinated, I love you. I'm protecting you because I'm wearing my mask so I don't get you sick. So I'm still showing my love for you. What else? Oh, come fly with me. That's it. Come fly with me. I have that one. I have that one somewhere in the stash. I don't even know if they work anymore. Oh, when you covered Highlight, did you ever see someone get jacked by that ball? Fastest ball? No, I never saw anybody get hit by the ball. But then again, I never was in. Well, I did do it once, actually. But I wasn't in a game, because I would get killed in a game. Because I would be the idiot that would get hit by the ball. There's no doubt in my mind that I would be the guy with, concussed on the floor, maybe dead, and get hit by the pelota. Yes, that would probably be me, get hit by the pelota. I did it once. I back in, I don't know, 25, 28 years ago or whatever it was. It's a long time ago. It was in my first couple years in this business. I was working, doing shows out there. And I would do shows either for 940 Wins or Radio Acción, 830. Radio Acción, La Ensalada Deportiva. So either I was doing Spanish or English. And I did live shows there, either or. Which, by the way, I believe I am still the only person in South Florida radio history. Listen, I am still the only person that holds the distinction of having an everyday sports talk show in Spanish and in English. Not a guest, because, there's been some other guys that are bilingual and they've been guests on a Spanish show and an English show. I am still the only radio host in South Florida to have an everyday Spanish show and an everyday Latin show. About that. But anyway, so I used to do them, and I used to do shows out there for 2 different stations back in the day, and they gave me the opportunity to put on a cesta and go in there and try to throw the ball and it was a disaster. I couldn't catch it. You can forget about that, okay? I have a better shot at getting COVID than catching the pelota. I'm telling you, catching the pelota, I mean, he was having fun. He'd just fling it, and it was going like maybe 20% of what it normally travels. And my ass could not catch that thing. I mean, those guys are awesome. And then when I threw it like down into the floor. It was bad. It was bad. I got to the point where I just told the guy, hey, bro, I got to get out of here because I'm going to injure myself. I'm going to injure you. I'm going to do something that I really, I'm going to regret. And I'm going to be driving home. I'm going, I can't believe I killed that man. I don't want to do that. So I just here's a cesta. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Back in those days, we didn't have like camera phones and things like that. Would have been just awesome to film me with my stupid helmet on, with the cesta on, and trying to play highlight when I can't play highlight. I mean, really, seriously, those people are badasses. And then the dudes that are climbing walls and catching and all that, I got to meet Joe. Actually, Joey, if you look at our, when I play that montage, Joey is there. The picture, Joey is the very famous highlight player. And there's a picture in the montage where I'm leaning over with a gentleman with salt and pepper hair and glasses. That's Joey.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
That's Joey right there. Right where I stopped it. That was Joey. Right there. He was inducted into the Broward County Hall of Fame, and I was doing a show for that shitty station 560. And I was there, and Zach Thomas was also, which you saw the picture there with me and Zach. Zach and Joey were inducted into the Broward County Hall of Fame. Well-deserved induction into the Broward County Hall of Fame. And so I got to meet Joey there and talk to him. He was a really cool dude. Had really a lot of complimentary things to say about us, about our show, which that was very kind. Didn't know he was a listener for a long time, so it was actually cool. Why didn't you continue to be a season ticket holder for the Heat? I got in the business in 91. Don't need the season tickets anymore. So I was in, 88, right? It started, right? 88, 89, 90, 91. Yeah, that's it. And I got in the business, right? Didn't the Heat start in 88, right? I want to say. I think I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong. Did I get it wrong? Let me see. It's so long ago, man. It's so damn long ago. Let me see here. Let me see what year the Miami Heat started. I want to say that's how it went, because I had the first 4 years. And where the hell is... Yep, 88. I was right. Right. So I had the 88-89 season, 89-90, 90-91, and 91-92, and then that's it. I dropped it. I didn't go to a lot of games that fourth year. I went to less games because I was starting to work. And I was I was working a night show, which also got in the way. In fact, I was working a night show that had the Heat rights, La Ensalada no, ensalada, Radio Acción, or had the rights to the Canes in Spanish, the Heat in Spanish, and not the Dolphins, the Canes and the Heat. What else? Yeah, just the Canes and the Heat. They didn't have Marlins. They didn't have Dolphins. So they only had the Canes and the Heat. And I did the pre and post game for the Heat in Spanish for the first year I was there or two in the station. Well, I was only there for 2 years. So yeah, I did the Heat. So I ended up going from having season tickets to sitting on the sidelines doing pre and post and interviewing Julio Iglesias. Because at those days, Julio would go to the shows, actually. So, I mean, to the games. So I have to look for people that speak Spanish. You know what I mean? And it's not like a lot of NBA players spoke Spanish in those days. One in a blue moon. Maybe there's a Puerto Rican kid that's in the league. I remember there was a Puerto Rican kid that was in the league that I remember when he came by. He might have played for the Spurs or somebody else. I forgot who it was. Might have been the Nets also or something like that. I forgot the name of the kid, but I remember very few I could get in those days. There'd be more now, but in those days there were very, very few players. It's funny, when I used to do a Spanish sports talk show, we in the media, we get these books, right? And not anymore, they don't do this anymore. But in the books, they would tell us exactly what were the team hotels and the phone numbers and everything. And in those days, we're talking over nearly 30 years ago. This is my 31st year in the business. So this is nearly 30 years ago. In those days, they didn't use fake names. So I could call Juan Gonzalez and get him on the show because all I had to do was call the team hotel and say Juan Gonzalez, and he would answer. And then I would explain to him, hey, listen, my name's Orlando Alzagari. I'm here in Miami. I'm doing a Spanish sports talk show. I would love to have you on. And it's that cold call these people. I would cold call them like right before I was coming on the air for like the hour or 2 hours leading up to the show. I would try to see if I'd look at the teams that are on the road, look at the players. Okay, this hotel. Okay, let me call. And then I'd call and I'd try to get the player on, if they were off that night or they played a day game or whatever. I was trying to, time it out and all that. It was cool. It was cool. And it would work. That's how it shows you what a difference 30 years ago was. I could call some of these baseball players. Nowadays, they'd tell me to go F myself. They'll go call the team PR and say, hey, such and such person just called me straight to my room and nobody told me about this. What the hell is this? And then I would get a call from the PR people and they would ream me for that. In those days, all hell's breaking loose, dude. It was a different ball game, but it was fun because I could get legitimate players on, big names too, man. And I would get them on and they would be really, really cool. Something you could never, ever, ever do right now. Bob S. says, saw Dan at practice Saturday, and even old retired Dan has a sweatband on his throwing hand. Well, dude, it's hot out there. Oh, did you play youth baseball? Yes, sir. I played for the Falcons. We all live in a Falcon yellow bus, a Falcon yellow bus, a Falcon yellow bus. Carreño, I think, was Coach Carreño, who passed away. Rest in peace. I think that was our coach. We used to practice over by Pan American Hospital, that terrible hospital right off of Northwest 7th Street and 57th Avenue. There was that little church, and then there was that big-ass field, and we would practice there all the time. We did some practice also at Curtis Park during the summers when we had summer camp. The Falcons had summer camp. We'd be out there. But yeah, the Falcons was my youth football league, right? I think it was Carreño, I want to say. I don't know how many of you even know what the hell I'm talking about. I'd be surprised if there's one person out there that knows what the hell I'm talking about. And if they do, then they played against the Falcons or they were also on the Falcons at one point or another. I don't know. I'm not sure. But the Falcons was the one I played Little League football with in those days. I really thought JJ was going to draft Randy Moss, and when he didn't, I knew that was a mistake. We got Avery. Big O, I found an old Ronnie Cycli autograph when he was with the Heat, and they played the Nets in the Meadowlands. I still have my Ronnie Cycli jersey. I have a Ronnie Cycli. I have a Billy Thompson jersey. Yeah. All right, let's go to hour number 3. Give me 1 minute here, and we will get hour number 3 started. Okay, let's do that.
When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All right, it's hour number 3 already on the program. Only one guest today. Tomorrow, Ira Winderman will join us. Free agency starts at 6 o'clock, so it's good. We start with Ira tomorrow. Manny Navarro will stop by also tomorrow. Kyle Krabs will be on Wednesday. And then Friday, wow, dude. Ira Winderman, Omar Kelly, and Manny Navarro. That'll be your trifecta on Friday. So we got an absolutely loaded week. Appreciate all of you out there as always. JP says, Big O, Albert Wilson will make the team. He will. All right, JP. I hope he does. Good for him. We'll see. We shall see. Let's wait for the pads. Let's wait a couple weeks. I played at Cagney Park in North Miami. LOL. I have every Dolphin game since 92. James, you are a sick puppy, and I love you for that. Tommy in Hialeah says, that's because Jimmy got rid of all his weapons and trying to be cute and win a contest of popularity. Yes. Yeah, Jimmy was terrible. Let's see. Robert says, yep, I played with the Cubanitos at Curtis. There you go. There was a line in the end zone versus UM. I don't know what the hell that means. Not sure. Sean goes, every time Grant goes back to field the punt, I get queasy. He doesn't really drop the punts and the kicks and the kick returns. That's not really his problem. It's only been receiving. Maybe he can talk to Simone Biles and see how she got over the yips because she's returning. So I don't know. Maybe that'll help out. What else do we have that I wanted to talk about a little bit? The O-line, we've talked a little bit about it. Jesse Davis playing right tackle, Eichenberg playing left guard, Michael Dieter playing center. Now, folks, I got to tell you something. While this, I don't think any of this means anything right now. I think they're still experimenting. I want to wait till they start actually hitting, and then we'll find out if Dieter can stay at center or they've got to go to Skura or Eichenberg. Eichenberg may end up at right tackle when it's all said and done. And maybe they're testing him out at left guard, give him some reps. Maybe Solomon Kinley is the guy there. I don't know. We have to give this some time, and let's wait till actually they start putting on the pads, and then we can start to get a real feel for who's going to help this running game, who's going to help out in pass protection. And we can now see who's, obviously committing the mistakes. You know what I mean? And at the same time, once you get the pads on, we start to get a feel for Jalen Phillips. We start to get a feel for where Vince Beagle is in his return from his injury. You know what I mean? Van Ginkel is another guy that I think is going to have a monster season this year. When they got rid of the what's the dude that they got from the Patriots and then he went back now? I'm brain farting now. But when they got rid of him, that was the message that was just sent right there to Van Ginkel. Like, okay, well, look, dude, if we're going to get rid of this guy, it's because we have a lot of faith that Van Ginkel can do a lot of the things that this guy can do, but at a higher level. And that's, I mean, to me, that's what it says. And so you've got all these guys, Agba has to be, Van Noy, thank you, Herman. Agba has to be so incredibly motivated because he had never had a year like he just had. And he knows that if he backs it up with another great year, do you know the kind of money that Agba is going to end up getting? And he might get it from this team. Because if he does it for 2 straight years and he's still at a good age that you could still get several years of productivity from him, maybe you're the team that ends up keeping Emmanuel Agba. And if you're Emmanuel Agba, here's the other thing. If you're making plays and you're having a really, the best part of your career started now since you put on a Dolphin uniform, it probably behooves you to stay in Florida, stay with the Dolphins, stay in a place that you're comfortable in, and you're able to perform, And if they got to pay him next year, you have to be grateful at least that you got him on the bargain for the first 2 years, because that's exactly what they have. It's a $7 million bargain if you can get a guy that's going to get you 9 sacks or more. That's a hell of a bargain. You're just not going to find that more often than not. I mean, you know how many people have overpaid for Jadeveon Clowney, and he rarely can ever get to that kind of number because he never ended up being the sack artist that people thought he could be. Seiler is also playing his ass off, or Seiler, whatever. So there's a lot of things for me that I need to see develop before I start measuring where Miami is. Even though I feel great about this team, even though I expect them to win 11 games or more, I expect them to get to the playoffs. I expect Tua to be an absolute stud this year. There's a lot of things I feel good about with this team, but I want to see it. You know what I mean? I want to read about it. I want to catch video glimpses of it in pads, them doing well. I want to see some of the preseason performances. I want to feel good about what's happening. Even though I feel great about this team and the direction they're going in, I think they've got a front office, something they haven't had in over 25 years. I think they've got a real coach now that knows how to actually make his players better on a consistent basis. So for me, there's a lot of things to like about it, but I've got to wait until we get the pads on so we can get a feel for the line and everything else. So my suggestion is don't read too much into what's going on right now in camp. By the way, Jake Ruddick has decided to retire from the NFL. I would imagine that somewhere right now, Adam Gase is drowning his sorrows in a big old bottle of whiskey, right? He's got to be really disappointed that Jake Ruddick, I guess Adam Gase isn't in charge of personnel anywhere, so Jake Ruddick doesn't have a job. Because you know that if Adam Gase was in charge of personnel somewhere, he would have a job right now. I can guarantee you that. I'm trying to see what else do we have here that I wanted to talk about a little bit. Oh, congratulations to U.S. beating Mexico. Gold Cup champions. Nice job by Miles Robinson with the header. Inter Miami, congratulations. Win over Montreal. Gonzalo Higuain with 2 goals. Marlins unfortunately swept by the Yankees. You trade all your offense. I mean, they scored 4 runs in 3 games. Marte's out, Duval is. I mean, it just gets to a point where you didn't have much offense, and you're going to trade some of your key pieces that produce it. That's going to be tough. What else do we have here that I wanted to talk about? Congratulations to the U.S. women in soccer. They have now proven to us that the rest of the world has caught up to them. They're not in the gold medal game in the last 2 Olympics. They got beat by Canada 1-0. First time they lose to Canada in 20 years. They're not dominant anymore. You notice that? The U.S. women's soccer team now has a lot of competition now at this point. It's almost like we used to pencil them in for the finals. We can't do that anymore now with the women. The rest of the world has done a nice job of catching up to our ladies. Our ladies have got to pick it up if they want to continue the dominance. And then Carson Wentz gets injured. Did you guys see this? Wentz getting injured. Now, the thing about Wentz getting injured that I find just absolutely, I don't know how you want to put it, but typical, predictable, whatever it is, that guy, and it's a foot injury now. He's going to rest and not have surgery, but foot surgery still could be an option down the line if it doesn't heal right. It kind of reminds me of the whole Tannehill thing where he didn't want to have surgery on his knee, and then he blew out his knee right away and then had to go have surgery, and the year was dead for him. This kind of reminds me of the same thing. Here's a guy that should have surgery. You're not durable by any stretch in anything. I mean, when he got injured over the weekend, was it on Friday or Saturday? I was like, okay, like this is what you expect to happen with Carson Wentz. And, Philadelphia now is like, damn, dude, if he plays 75% of the snaps or more, we get a first rounder. If he plays 70%, we're going to end up with a second rounder. And if you're Philadelphia, you almost had to think you were going to end up with a second rounder, right? Because this guy, to play 75% of the snaps in a season, it's a miracle if he's able to play 30% of the snaps in a season, much less 75. But it's not that I'm wishing injury on Carson Wentz. Heck, he was a hell of a player the first couple of years. And talk about how injuries have changed the trajectory completely of his career, his confidence, everything. He is not the same player mentally, and he is not the same player physically. Obviously, physically, it's taken a toll, but the injuries have affected him mentally too, to the point where he makes bad decisions out there with the football. That's one I saw also that damn. Russell Westbrook traded to the Lakers. And for me, the Russell Westbrook thing, I got to tell you something. I'm not buying Russell Westbrook with the Lakers at all. Seriously, I just don't feel that this is going to put them over the top. One, AD can't stay healthy as it is. Russell Westbrook is a ball-dominant guard, and you've got another ball-dominant guard or forward, whatever you want to call LeBron. So now and both guys, if they're playing off the ball and attacking the hoop, great. But if they're both playing off the ball to shoot, not good. So I while it's a big three, there's something about this big three, especially the Westbrook LeBron thing, that I have a problem with because both of them need the ball in order to be effective. And all of a sudden, Russell Westbrook now is going to learn to play off the ball. Oh, and here's the other thing. Do I really want him playing off the ball? Are we now giving Russell Westbrook a green light to shoot more? That's not a good thing. He's a volume shooter. So in order for him to score points, he has to shoot a lot. Now, LeBron and AD, their rebounding numbers can go up now with Westbrook on the court. I know Westbrook is a fantastic player, a freakish talent, all of those kind of things, but he just lacks the efficiency that you need in order to be a champion. You know what I mean? And I think he's going to affect the Lakers in that sense. Look, you got LeBron, you still have a chance. I get it. And if somehow you can keep AD healthy, maybe you could do it enough with those guys, but Westbrook, oof, damn, it's crazy. Revo says, saw a woman clean jerk 350 pounds. Well, that's about 349 more than I can do. The work sim has caught up with the women's team. The wokeism. Oh, wokeism has caught. I don't know what that means, but The rest of the world has caught up to him. Sebring says Raekwon Davis is going to be a beast. Him and Wilkins are going to make this pass rush and run defense a lot better. I'm with you. I think Davis is going to have a big year, and that will open it up for Wilkins also to play well. And they have Sealer there. They have a nice little rotation. I like this team, man. I like the Dolphins. I really do. I think the Dolphins are going to be absolutely fantastic this year, man. Broward and Dade led the nation in COVID hospitalizations, and there's been a surge in children's hospitalizations. Yeah, I know. More younger people are getting affected with this variant because this thing attacks your lungs, dude, right away. It's scary. Scary. Those of you that are not vaccinated, please get the damn vaccine already, man. Give yourselves a better chance to fight this stupid thing, and we can get, ahead of this. It's going to take a while, but we can do it. FYI update, Carson Wentz will opt to have surgery. Oh, he did. Oh, I read this morning he wasn't. All right, smart. What did I say, right? It reminds me of the Ryan Tannehill thing, that he opted not to have surgery, and then he ended up having surgery. And a guy like that I did not see that. I did not see that Wentz was going to have surgery now. No, no, it still says here, Wentz will rest, will not have immediate surgery. I don't see anything different here. Says the big question in Indianapolis is when quarterback Carson Wentz will be able to get back on the field after suffering a foot injury, and the answers may not be known for a while. Word from the team on Saturday was there's no timetable. Ian Rappaport of NFL Media reports that the initial treatment plan won't bring into focus for a bit. Rappaport reports that Wentz is going to rest his foot and do other rehab work over the next few days rather than have surgery. If all goes well, Wentz could be able to play in the season opener. If not, surgery will be back on the table and an operation is expected to keep him out. Now, if something came in, I am not seeing it here from Pro Football Talk. Let me see if ESPN has something there that says that headline, but I have not seen anything there. Here we go. Colts Wentz to have surgery out 5 to 12 weeks. You are correct, sir. So Pro Football Talk has not updated it, but ESPN did. He will undergo surgery on Monday on his injured left foot and will be sidelined approximately 5 to 12 weeks, Frank Reich announced. Reich said it's an old injury, possibly from high school, and a broken bone came loose in Wentz's foot. Wentz felt a twinge in his foot when he rolled out and planted to throw late in Thursday's practice. Reich said Jacob Eason will continue to receive first-team reps while Wentz is sidelined. The job is Jacob's right now. He has to prove it. He knows that Jacob is in the driver's seat. What happens if Jacob Eason cannot move? The Statue of Liberty moves slightly faster than Jacob Eason, but Jacob Eason is a big kid that has got a cannon for an arm. Now, if he can make an impact from the pocket, he's not going to be the athlete that you need in this league, but he does have the arm to make any throw he wants on the field. Jacob Eason has some talent, but he's still super raw. But what happens if somehow the light goes on and the guy kicks ass after you've traded for Carson Wentz? What do you do at that point, right? I don't think it's going to happen. I think they'll go back to Wentz when it's all said and done. And kudos to Wentz, because that's what he should do, is have surgery. Okay? This whole resting thing that first came out, that was stupid. I was convinced it was going to go the route of Tannehill. And for sure it would end up in it. But that's nice to read. So it's on ESPN there. Thank you for updating me, folks out there. Thank you. Jamie says ESPN reported it 30 minutes ago. Thank you. What's this? Colts talk? Dola, I talk about everything, dude. Yes, mainly it'll be Dolphins and Canes and Heat and Panthers and Marlins and Inter and Owls and Golden Panthers. Yes, mainly it's going to be our local sports, but I'm going to talk about everything going on in sports. Okay? So, yes, I just thought I'd mention it because I thought it was an interesting story to talk about. Now, the Miami Heat, they are now exercising the option on Goran Dragic's $19.4 million contract. They have declined the $15 million one for Iguodala. Now, reports are that means that there's a market for Dragon, and he could be used in a sign and trade now to use his $19 million as part of a sign and trade, which, again, I still wonder why Toronto would want Goran, but, again, they can't lure free agents, so I guess they're going to settle for an older player at $19 million. Wow. Damn. Must be nice to be able to throw that kind of money away. So Lowry coming here to Miami, he's a nice player, solid veteran, not a great three-point shooter, and in the end, not a guy that's going to help you make a deep run into the playoffs or get to the finals. To me, this does nothing for me whatsoever. Apparently, Dallas and New Orleans are also interested in in Kyle Lowry. So we will find out if the 35-year-old comes to Miami or goes to Dallas or New Orleans. I can't see him going to New Orleans. It's got to be Dallas or Miami, right? I mean, New Orleans, that situation still doesn't look like the kind that if I'm a free agent, that's where I want to go. I would go there if I'm a free agent that doesn't have a lot of options, and New Orleans is also willing to just absolutely overpay badly. Kind of like what the Suns are going to do with Chris Paul. Chris Paul has opted out of that $44 million contract because reportedly they say the Suns, he may end up with a 3-year, $90 million deal. He was out of gas by the end of the series this year. I don't know what more you need to see from Chris Paul. Why would you sign him for 3 more years and $90 million? I got to say I disagree with that one with the Suns. But for the Heat, so Dallas and New Orleans also interested in Kyle Lowry. And apparently it's Dragon and Achua for Lowry, if that's the case. That's what they're talking about. Dola's asking about Bobby Portis. Bobby could be an option. Bobby, to me, is... I know he had a nice run, but there's a part of me that he doesn't look like a Heat player, bro. You know, he looks like the kind of guy that still needs to be babied a little bit and be looked after. You know what I'm saying? George says, Big O, are you going to Steely Dan? No, sir. I've seen Steely Dan a ton. I got to say that it seems to me like Donald Fagen lost a little bit on the fastball the last time I saw him. And so I've been fortunate enough to see Steely Dan many times over the years. One of my favorite Steely Dan shows, I saw them at the Sunrise Musical Theater, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, whatever it was. And that was a freaking awesome concert. But I've seen them several times, so I am not going to this version. I'm not going to go to Steely Dan. I'm not going to Kiss now when they come. I'm not going locally to Metallica. I'm going to go up in Atlanta to go see them with Greta Van Fleet because I'm crazy like that. What can I tell you? Parker off the pup and Williams on COVID reserve. Yes, sir. We know. James Roman says, afternoon, everybody. Walking tall today after U.S. men's national team's huge win over El Tricolor last night. Bring on the World Cup qualifiers next month. Yes, sir. So happy USA beat Mexico. I'm just glad they beat them because they're supposed to beat them. That's what I'm happy about. We got to pass these guys up, bro. Nobody in the Northern Hemisphere and nobody in the Caribbean should be hanging with the United States of America in soccer. I'm sorry. The Heat need a solid rebounder. The Heat need a lot, George. A lot. James Roman says, my wife is Mexican. She's borderline suicidal today. Tell her to get used to it. Tell her to get used to it. The USA is going to be kicking their ass on a consistent basis from here on out. Okay? The young guys we have now, these are our best soccer players we've ever had. The best. Our best teams are still the ones from the 90s, but this team is going to grow up to be the best team. Our individual players are better. These young cats. It's nice to see how that talent has really taken a next step. Oh, they're saying Toronto isn't going to keep Dragon. They're probably going to trade him to Dallas to team up with Luka. Whatever it is, bro. If that's the case, then Dallas is a stupid one And I know that they initially got him back in the day or whatever, but yeah. New Orleans is a mess, and Zion's family wants him out of there. That was only a matter of time. Woj says the Mavericks are out of the Lowry stakes. They are? Okay. George says, I miss Jay Crowder. David says, Walter Brecker is dead, hence not Steely Dan. Don Fagen solo concert, still a good show. It's a decent show. Fagen's also kind of lost a little bit of his fastball singing too, bro. You go listen to him and you'll see he's kind of getting to that point where he's talking things up, not necessarily singing them. You know what I'm saying? So I saw the last, and you're right, by the way, with Walter gone, with Brecker gone, and they lost Brecker, God, I want to say about 4 or 5 years ago, with Brecker gone, and obviously you took away a lot of Steely Dan. You are correct, sir. You are correct. I've seen Steely with Walter several times. So yeah, I'm passing it up this time around. I'm going to be passing up some concerts now. There are certain bands that I've seen so many times, and I know that they're no longer performing at a high level anymore. Motley Crue, I have no intentions of ever seeing Motley Crue again. Even if Eddie Van Halen was alive, I would only go see Van Halen just to see Eddie, because David can't sing. Steely Dan is one that, Kiss is another they're money grabbing at this point. Paul's voice is shot. There's some bands out there that I'm probably going to pass up now the next time they come around. Okay. So yeah, that's definitely one of them. What else do we have that I wanted to talk about here on the Choman? Oh, MTV, by the way, turned 40 years old yesterday. Did you guys see that? August 1st at 12:01 a.m. on August 1st of 1981, MTV made its debut with, of course, Video Killed the Radio Star. Pat Benatar was the second video played there because Neil Girardo was the first guitarist to ever play on MTV, because the Buggles didn't have a guitar. They were all synthesizers and a bass, and that's it. They didn't really have a guitar. And so what's it called? Girardo was the first rock guitarist there on MTV in their second video. And it's funny because they turned 40 yesterday, but in my eyes, MTV died like 25, 30 years ago. Right? In the early 90s, by the early 90s, MTV was dead. It wasn't a music channel anymore. It's been dead for a long, long, long time. Did you guys see what the Watson accuser came out with over the weekend? It's pretty. If you have any kids right now, please tell them to leave the room, pause, listen to this segment when you're alone, okay? Because I want to warn you ahead of time. I'm not going to get too disgustingly graphic because it's gross, and I don't want to do that. I think that's kind of, it goes, I don't mind if an S-bomb is dropped or even an F-bomb every once in a blue moon or whatever. I don't mind that. And I mean, most kids know about that anyways, as it is. But apparently Deshaun Watson's one of his alleged sexual assault victims got really graphic about what happened. She got on Tasha K's YouTube channel to discuss many things, including graphic details about what she was asked to do. And during the interview, the only thing that concerned during her first encounter was that Watson kept asking her to go inside his butt. During the second encounter, Lewis stated that Watson got extremely touchy and even trying to grab her butt. And he even got, I guess we could say erect, asking her if she wanted to put it in her mouth. Now, I'm not going to play the whole video and all this kind of stuff, but this is what I was telling you about Watson. How do you know he's not a sexual deviant? How do you know he's not going to do this again? How do we know that he doesn't have a real problem and he's just using money and fame to hide it, like a lot of people that are famous have been able to hide their crimes through money, whether it's buying somebody off or paying somebody off or whatever it is. But it's not like Watson's the first guy to hide something dirty if he did it. And, we're talking about you're calling somebody over for a massage, but then you're asking for other things that are not massages. Well, it's a different kind of massage, let's just say. Kind of kinky, kind of weird. Just, I thought it was weird, man. Tasha K. You want to go see the video? Go ahead and go check out the video. Her name, by the way, is, where the hell is it here? Nia Reese Lewis is the accuser. So if you want to check out the video, and again, are the kids out? Anus and penis massages. Yeah, if you want to hear that graphic video, you can go check it out there. Tasha K is the YouTube host, and you can check her out. The other thing that I found interesting, weird, twisted, I don't know how you guys want to call it. You guys know Ice-T is married to Coco Austin T, or right? Ice-T, Coco Austin T, I guess, is how it's pronounced. I'm not exactly sure. Whatever the last name is that they have there. I don't know if Ice-T uses T or uses his real name or what. I don't know. I have no idea. But if you've ever checked out Ice-T's wife, Coco, she's an explosive woman. Okay? I'm being very kind with this. And I mean it in a good way, explosive. I'm talking about, this is a curvy woman. And she's not fat at all. She's just a thick woman and has a ginormous butt and has ginormous breastises. Okay? If you've never seen Coco, it's a sight to see. I think it's, it could be a tower in some city somewhere. Coco could be, she stands there and she could be as big as some of these buildings. And again, not fat. She's just thick, solid thick. Okay? Some of us don't mind the thickness. Some of us find thick women attractive. But again, I can't speak for everybody. I can only tell you the Latins and the brothers. We're just into the thick women. We just like it. We're into the thick curves. And Coco has thick curves. So Coco does something that a lot of people don't do. Her daughter Chanel is still breastfeeding at the age of 5. Now, I know what some of you men are saying. You would breastfeed with Coco till you were 95. I get it. Again, if you see Coco, I'm just saying. But it's just a weird story, dude. It was weird when she was 4 years old and they were talking about it. The kid's 5 and the kid is still breastfeeding. And they talk about, well, it's a great moment for the mom and the kid to connect, and that, she can still do it and she still wants it. And so we still provide it if she still wants it. I'm just saying. Can I tell you that there's just a part of me that says that Chanel's not the only one feeding? I'll just leave it at that. That's all I'll say. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. I just don't think Chanel's the only one that's feeding off of Coco. Okay? Martina says that's just wrong. What, wrong that somebody else is feeding off of it, or wrong that the daughter's feeding off at 5? What is it, Martina? You can't just say that's just wrong. You got to be specific, Martina, because I got to hear from a woman's point of view. Why is it wrong? Okay. Which, by the way, I do find it weird that the kid's 5-year-old and still breastfeeding. Now, Ice-T at 55 and breastfeeding, well, that's, there are some guys driving around going, have you seen Coco? I might breastfeed too. Maybe that's why Ice-T will live forever. He's living off of Coco. I don't know. And Mike No-Go Zone says Vince Neil is an embarrassment now. Yeah, no, seriously. I don't know what's a bigger embarrassment, Mike. Is it Vince Neil's voice or the fact that some people would actually pay to actually watch that man sing? That's kind of what it is. He's also working on bringing Derozan, and I heard that too. I don't think they're going to pull off Derozan and Lowry, but I'll tell you this, not impressed either. Not impressed either. What did Lowry and Derozan win when they were together? They had to go get Kawhi and get rid of one of them in order to win. Yeah, no, those guys, they do nothing. It's just a matter of the Heat settling for what they can get nowadays. That's what it's going on. They're settling is what they're doing. Freddie Julian says, do you believe in Tua? Freddie, you got to be new to this show, dude. You have to be new to this show. You need to subscribe to the podcast, Big O Radio Show, and go listen. And yes, I do. And I'll give you plenty of reasons why I believe in the kid. It's all there in the podcast. But yes, I've mentioned it many times. I believe Tua will ball out. He's going to throw for 30 touchdowns this year. Big O, maybe Watson is constipated and needed help. Oh, I got to plug it in. I got you. He needed a plug. He wanted a finger as a butt plug. I got you. Let's see. I want marshmallows with that cocoa. Big O, how are you? So apparently the crowd was chanting at practice today. Let's pay Howard. Clap, clap, clap. Yeah, I know the fans, but they don't have to pay the price. Revo says, my mom never breastfed me. She always had a headache. Alex says, Ice-T is definitely feeding off that too. I'm with you. Martina goes, at 5 years old. Okay, so that's the wrong part. So, Martina, is it wrong for Ice-T to keep feeding? That's the question. That's the question I have for you. Is it wrong for Ice-T to keep feeding? Oh, what is more authentic? An Instagram licensed massage therapist or Watson just wanted a back rub? Lowry and Derozan are going to come out of their walkers. Yeah, it does nothing for me. It'll be a nice team. They'll be a playoff team, but they're not going anywhere. Yuno says Tua should get more reps than Brissett. I'm sure he'll get it, but they got to give Brissett some reps. You want to get him acclimated to everything. And remember, Tua's coming back also from a hip injury. You don't want to overwork things either. You want to kind of build up the body too for football-wise. So you're kind of doing that too with Tua. Remember that, okay? Alex says, Law and Order music hits when Ice-T feeds off Coco. Dun, dun, dun. Martina says, hey, whatever floats your boat, LOL. So Martina has no problem with Ice-T feeding. She has a problem with Chanel feeding. Martina, I got to agree with you on that one. I got listen, if you were married to Coco, I'm just saying, dude, that's an explosive body right there. To have walking around your house all day long, how are you not tempted all day long? You know what I mean? So I get it. Omar seen not appropriate. Grant, what is Omar seeing? I don't know about that, but Grant's actually played well too. Again, no pads, so I don't really care. But if we can say one guy's playing well, he's actually caught some passes too. What are the Marlins doing trading away our best players? Why did we get rid of Duvall? Frankie the Tanky. Let me explain something to you. I did this on Twitter for somebody else. The Marlins traded away older players. They traded away guys that aren't part of their future anyway. And I'm sure they wanted to trade Aguilar too, and they couldn't because they couldn't find the right, compensation, so they kept him. The Marlins, believe it or not, okay, they did the right thing in trading away the talent that they traded away. Those aren't guys that are going to be here for 2, 3, 4 years. And if you're going to be good in the next couple of years because your young guys have grown up, you will now go buy a couple of good free agents. And that's what we're going to find out down the line. But what the Marlins did right now in making the moves that they did make, those were smart moves. They picked up younger players that they can develop. Look, it gets to a point where you're going to have to spend some money. And next year is year 4 of this rebuild. And if you don't start spending some money and you keep losing between 90 plus games to 100 plus games a year, you're never going to win this crowd over here in South Florida. Never. So it's really up to them spending some money on players that are much better than Duvall. So Duvall, Marte, all those moves were good moves by the Marlins because those weren't guys that you build around. You want to get rid of those kind of guys. So really, there's a lot of things we can pick on the Marlins for over the years. This isn't one of them right now. This one was a very logical move. You were 7,000 games out of any kind of playoff spot. You were never going to get to the playoffs. Why are you keeping these kind of guys around? If you can get some young prospects, and apparently that A's pitcher is pretty damn good. I think he's a local kid also. I think these kind of moves are really, really important. And the other thing that I will tell you this. The Marlins have built up so much pitching that they're going to have an opportunity to trade some of this pitching for hitting, which is what they badly need. And obviously, some of these pitchers are going to end up as starters, and some of these pitchers are going to end up as bullpen guys. And they've drafted so many pitchers over the first couple of years that their minor league system is littered with all kinds of pitchers, and they added more in this last draft. And I that's also a very smart move because pitching is always incredibly easy to trade. And you can get back bats in return for pitchers. So I do like that. But at one point or another, ladies and gentlemen, they're going to have to spend. They're going to have to spend money on a couple of studs. And then we'll know what kind of commitment they have to actually winning. But these trades that they made, losing Adam Duvall is nothing. He wasn't going to help you at all, and he's not your future. Starling Marte is not your future. If they could have traded Aguilar, they should have. These are guys that are not going to be around for the long term. So why would you want to keep these guys around? Doesn't make any sense. Craig says, hey, my girlfriend has big boobs, and she won't let me breastfeed. Well, Craig, I got to tell you that right there, that's just unacceptable, Craig. It's unacceptable. The Marlins are the A's of the East. No, not even close. No, NorCal. They don't win like the A's in Tampa. No. Now, they've won titles, something that the A's in Tampa can't do. But that's when they actually had like a real GM like Dombrowski that can build it up. But no, they're not like the A's. They don't win as much or the Rays. The Rays and A's do an excellent job for not spending money. See, the A's and the Rays are actually are more frustrating than the Marlins. Because the Marlins aren't close to winning a title or anything like that. But man, the A's in Tampa, they're pretty close. That if they actually spent a little money, they can go over the top because they have good baseball people. They know how to, draft and recruit and develop and all of that. So while you're doing all of that, if you can go buy a couple of free agents, and they're pretty good at identifying what players are, and they could probably do a great job of identifying the right free agents. If Tampa spent a little money, if Oakland spent a little money, they could win a title. There's no doubt in my mind. Big O, do you think the Heat will trade Tyler Hero in a package today? I mean, Tremolio, I don't think they will. Or was it no Saxman? Saxman, I don't think they will, but you never know. I can't tell you I know any insight there on the Heat, dude. I'd be lying to you, and so would anybody else tell you that they know what the Heat are going to do. Heat don't talk to anybody. But I would think that they're going to give him one more shot because he's cheap. He's on his rookie deal still. I think he gets one more chance at redeeming himself. And then next year, if there's some struggles, then yeah, the trade. But right now, his trade value is low. So why trade him now at this point? I think you wait till next year, if anything. Let's see. What else do we have here? Freddie Julian says, gracias, Big O. Haven't heard you since 560. Well, thank you, Freddie. Appreciate you. Keep it locked here. Troy Ortiz says, oh, do you really think this Marlins ownership has the money to spend on big-time players? Troy, I mean, Sherman's rich, right? We'll see. We'll see if maybe they have it and they're not willing, or maybe they don't have it and they can't. I'm not sure. But I will tell you this, Troy. If they don't spend, they're never going to get over the hump. Now, if they're just strictly waiting on a Kansas City Royals moment, then I hope you don't hold your breath. Let's see. Do you think Tua will have a better passer rating than Herbert and Burrow? Yes, I do. And he'll win more games and he'll go to the playoffs, and they won't. Alfredo says, Craig Mish said that if they don't win next year, heads are going to roll. Which ones? Jeter and Sherman? Because that doesn't make any sense. Let me put it this way. Okay, let me put it this way. How do you fire Don Mattingly with this team? Was anybody going to take these guys to the playoffs? So heads are going to roll. Firing a GM or firing a manager, why? It's like somebody when they ask me, well, what do you think about what Kim Ng's doing? Well, she just got here and she has no wallet yet. If they don't give her a checkbook, how the hell am I supposed to measure Kim Ng? Right? So I got to see what they can do first of all. But if they don't spend, they're not going anywhere anyways. And heads are going to roll. Firing, I'm not a Don Mattingly fan by any stretch whatsoever. He looks like a really, really nice man. I think he's as mediocre as it gets as a manager. I don't care what kind of luck they ran into last year in that, fake-ass 60-game schedule. But Mattingly does nothing for me, but I can't blame him because they suck. Anybody that would manage this team, the Marlins will suck. They don't have talent. Giants winning it this year. Sherman hiding behind Jeter too much. Sherman wants to win next year. Well, Alfredo, if he wants to win next year, he better spend some money to win next year. If he doesn't spend any money, don't tell me you want to win. My boys, the Mets, will own the East for years. Craig says the GM from the Marlins said that Mattingly will be back next year. Of course he is. Well, what are they going to do? Bring in a really good manager? Really good manager isn't taking this job. So they got to keep Mattingly around because he's the perfect stopgap guy right now. So, what are you going to do? By the way, Bucks are showing serious commitment to winning. The coach said that they'd be at 92% vaccinated by August 13th. That's pretty good. They won a title last year. They got a taste of it. They want to get another title this year. Can't blame them. That's dedication, ladies and gentlemen, right there. Professor EDR says, Big O, listening from DC Live. Been listening to you since 560. Met you at Rosalitas. And you bought me a beer. Keep up the great work, bro. Thank you. Thank you, sir. We love Rosalitas. Great place. Rosalitas. Alex says, Don Manley's done a very good job with this team. There's not much to do with this team, man. Nobody could win with this team, bro. There's not a manager in the world that could win with this team. All right, we are going to wrap it up here on the show. We thank all of you for tuning in, locking it in. We are out of here. We will see you tomorrow. Ira Winderman will join us at 10:30. Manny Navarro will join us at 12:30. May have another guest also. Maybe we'll preview a little soccer for Wednesday, since Inter won on Saturday and then they get ready for Orlando on Wednesday. Maybe we'll do a little Inter talk on Tuesday. We thank Omar Kelly, of course, with our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report. We will see all of you tomorrow, same time, same place, same bat channel. I love you all.